Hello there, Raspanisjata Benefuciata Ronchi, and welcome to this very special international edition of Uncle Kage's Winestream. I am Uncle Kage, but you probably knew that. If not, I don't know how the hell you got here. This is, as I said, a special edition that's being put on for our friends from far-flung time zones, because I usually do this Winestream in what is in the United States on the East Coast, the early evenings of Saturday. And people from all over the world have sent me emails saying, boy, I like to watch your wine stream, but I can't stay up that late, or I have to get up in the middle of the night. So this is especially for you guys to thank you so much for putting up with such weird time zones. So this one is being broadcast, hopefully in a more convenient time zone for you. Now, it is a wine stream, as we all know, and I was faced with something of a dilemma because, well, it's not really socially acceptable here in the United States for one to drink alcohol in the morning, particularly when you've just crawled out of bed, as I have. However, you might have heard the phrase good old American ingenuity. Somewhere along the line, somebody got the idea that if you disguise an alcoholic beverage with orange juice and make it look breakfasty, then it gets more social acceptability at that point. So they decided they would take champagne, or what Americans call champagne. What we call champagne here does not come from France. It's typically very, very crappy California sparkling wine. And they mix it with orange juice, and they call it a mimosa. That usually appeals to older ladies. In some parts of the country, it's been known to make this concoction and to add a small amount of rum to it and call it a man-mosa, so that gentlemen don't feel so fruity drinking it. So in honor of this quaint American tradition of making drinking at breakfast socially acceptable, I've gotten a bottle of fine Italian Prosecco, which is a somewhat sweet sparkling wine. Now, there is a bit of a concern when one is mixing a sparkling beverage with a non-sparkling beverage, which is acidic, in that when I add the orange juice to this, there is a very good chance the whole thing is just going to detonate and explode in foam all over the place. But this is meant to be a comedy stream. Let's find out if that works. So I have some proper, good old American orange juice here, which comes from oranges, not from concentrate. So let's see how this works. Here goes. He said with great trepidation. Well, that was very anticlimactic, wasn't it? Oh, well. So here I am with my breakfasty alcoholic beverage, socially acceptable in the United States. So cheers. And it's pretty good. Yeah, I can see why little old ladies like to drink this at breakfast. So, of course, it means I have to have an extra number of coasters in front of me. I use the Bayern Furs coasters they gave me, very, very kind of them. Oh boy, I can get into this. Well, Unexplained tells us the mimosa, what we have here, is known as Buck's Fizz here in Wales. Don't get confused when you pronounce that; somebody might get offended. um, so I noticed some people are actually here. There was something of a concern that I would get up at what is 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday on a holiday weekend here, and nobody would show up. But I'm very very glad that you all did. I see Gigarde is here. Bonjour. Mm. Ah. We have Brunhilde Flambeven. I've never seen Uncle Kage before in a Winestream. Well, here I am. I was going to get up a little bit earlier and shave and get myself all presentable and put on the usual shirt and tie. But when the alarm went off, I said, "Nah, screw that. I'm going to stay asleep for a little bit longer." So I pretty much only woke up about 20 minutes ago right now. Um, let's see. Uh, apparently, uh, yeah, Oxlane tells me it's made with white wine instead of champagne over there in Wales. Now, I imagine they do not have such a beverage in France because that would require mixing something with French champagne, which is a capital offense in France. You can be guillotined for that, unless they want to import some California sparkling wine. However, that is also a capital offense, and you could be guillotined for that in France. Hmm. Oh, and Anrock Draconis has just outed themselves. It says it's Layla Cookie, but undercover. Everybody else can see that, So it didn't help. And Rusty Fox is watching this in VR. Wow, maybe I should put my VR chat icon on. My VR chat icon is just me. It's like a cardboard cutout of me wandering around, so it just looks the same. Hmm. Oh, and Brunhilde, what a kind thing Brunhilde says. It says, "I look great. First off, you're a fibber, but thank you very much. It's a pleasure to actually see me because I seem to be an important person in the fan." That, you're going to make me blush, and it'll throw the white balance off. But thank you very much. You're very kind. I don't consider myself an important person in the fandom. I do many things in the fandom, but there are lots of people who contribute to this community of ours. I'm pretty much just an old man who drinks too much before noon and who never actually shuts up. If that makes me important, yeah, okay, great, I'll take it. Hmm. Oh, and yes, I do have this fancy new microphone set up here. I think it gives the sound quality a bit of a boost. The only problem is there's a wire going into my pocket, but it is wireless and it's operating on battery. According to the manufacturer, the battery lasts for 5 hours. We're going to find out. I don't expect this is going to go for 5 hours because I do have to get breakfast at some point. And my dear and sainted mother, my sister and brother-in-law are going to be expecting me to come and join them. And this is, of course, a holiday weekend, as I said, in the United States, our Thanksgiving week, although this year we call it the culling of the herd week. We'll see how that goes. Oh, that's terrible. I'm going to hell for that. But they have come down to visit. We're keeping the celebration very, very small. And my brother-in-law is a physician, so I figure if I can't trust him to stay safe, who can I trust? Hmm. Let's see. And Gummibjorn, I see. Last night I got a bizarre communication from Gummibjorn. Um, saying a quick hop on Skype. Well, I couldn't. I was having let's face it, a piss up with my with my family last night. Gummibjorn apparently sampled my living room here and put it as a background on Skype, and apparently he got Silver very very confused, thinking that Gummibjorn was over here in my living room. Silver is in Norway himself, so he's very much a Viking stock. It isn't good to confuse Vikings. They tend to cross the seas in their dragon ships and pillage you. But Gummibjorn is a Dane, and I'm not sure if they ever pillaged each other. It's And that's a sort of incestuous pillaging, but who am I to judge, right? Hmm. Hmm. And Rusty was going to say that I sounded different before I pointed out the mic. That's it here. Now, in case this thing does crap out on me, I do have the alkali provided monstrous dildo mic here. So this is the backup. So should I suddenly go quiet, it probably means that the batteries have run out in the pack that's in the pocket of my robe here. And Brunhilde is asking the eternal question: is AC starting again next year? I don't know. In fact, I have a teleconference with the folks at the city of Pittsburgh this Thursday. We're going to review the current state of things. We have vaccines that are reported to be promising, but they really haven't been field tested yet, and they haven't been distributed yet. So we're still in something of a holding pattern. We're going to cross our fingers. We're hoping we can have AC this year. And Ice Wolf says, it's so early for you. I know, Ice Wolf. As I said, I'm just out of bed myself. And how am I doing? I'm doing quite well. I'm getting a history lesson down here, having mentioned the pillaging. Norway was Danish from the 12th century until Sweden decided to take pity over them and took them under their wing in 1815. I have the feeling the Norwegians are going to pillage you for saying that. It's just a feeling I've got here. Oh, and Ivok Kove is watching from the Netherlands. Goedemiddag. That's the one phrase of Dutch that I know how to say. You have to say it with a lot of phlegm. Gunsmith wants to know, how long will I stream? Until breakfast time, which is roughly 3 hours from now, or until my beverage runs out, or until I lose my voice. I don't know. I'll stream until you guys are done. How's that sound? Hang on, Mr. Morningstar says it's 5 a.m. What the hell are you doing awake at 5 a.m. on a Saturday on a holiday weekend? You're crazy. Rusty Fox says, how much vodka is in that orange juice? None. That would be socially unacceptable. However, this is a mixture of Prosecco, a sparkling wine, and orange juice. This is what we call a mimosa. It is a socially acceptable alcoholic beverage for breakfast. So, yum, yum. And it's 6 a.m. for Rusty Fox, too. Okay, the fact that you got, okay, maybe you work weird hours, in which case, thank you for being here, but please don't tell me that you crawled out of bed just to see this. That would make me feel very, very guilty. Let's see. So I'm seeing folk from France. I'm seeing folk in the Netherlands. I'm seeing folk from the British Isles, if I can use that term. I never know if I'm going to upset somebody when I say that. Oh, Rusty's been up all night. Okay, that explains it there. I had considered the possibility of simply staying up and beginning my drinking early, but maybe 35 years ago I could have done that, not now. Let's see. Oh, and Onyx Flame is still in bed, and Ma'am has brought her some tea and biscuits. Hello, Ma'am. Very, very good to see you. You should try this. It's called a buck's jizz or something. Whatever. Try one of these. You'll like it. So, I'm just going to sit here and drink. I don't know about you guys. Okay. It's kind of a relief, too, because usually when I'm streaming this at more conventional hours, the chat is going, but it's going slowly, so I can actually see what people. Oh, Caraway is here, my favorite bunny. My favorite bunny. Very, very good to see you, Caraway. Yes, he says, breakfast finished. Time to join everyone and drink. If you have something to drink and it's socially acceptable where you live, please feel free. And Mr. Morningstar says, when do you plan to have another stream? You mean other than this one? Probably the second weekend, whatever the second Saturday of December is. December is a little tough because, well, you're starting to get close to Christmas, and who the heck needs to see me in a Santa hat here, or whatever. So that one will be at a more conventional time, conventional for the United States. So again, that's why I'm here at this very, very strange, bizarre hour for our friends in foreign lands. Vice and Wolf would like to know: are your eyes deceiving you, or does the glass have a First Cavalry logo on it? Well, you're very, very perceptive, Vice, and that is what is on my glass right there. I cannot recall where I got. I know this glass was a gift, and this is a problem. People are so sweet. They're so wonderful the world over. People give me little presents, and I'm ecstatic to get them. But after 15 years, I don't remember who it was who gave me this particular present. I've got so many things around here. Some of them I remember, but it's like, yes, somebody gave that to me. Someone very thoughtful, and it was 10, 12. And it's especially, oh my gosh, it's especially embarrassing when somebody sends me a note and says, "Hi, haven't heard from you in a while. Do you still have that thing I gave you?" And I say, "Absolutely. It's right over there in the place where those things are kept, right? Yeah, I can see it right now." Well, Mr. Morningstar is going back to sleep. Well, that was quick. Thank you for stopping by, Mr. Morningstar, though. Gigout is asking if I think Euroference will be possible. I think Euroference is a greater possibility than Anthrocon. I'm not ruling either one out, but Euroference is going to be later in the year, and should the various vaccines hold up to their promise, I think that there is a good chance that Euroference will proceed. Onyx Flame says, we are sticking my 3-foot Christmas tree up, is what it says. It's still hard to see this morning. To see if my cat will destroy it between now and the 13th of December. Spoilers, the cat will, because that's what cats do. And that's when Mom's 7-foot tree goes up on the zip. So you put up Christmas trees in stages in Wales. You start with a 3-foot tree, then you go to a 7-foot tree. Good heavens, what happens on Christmas Eve? Let's see. Oh, Brunhilde has a special wine glass from the T-Rex in downtown Disney, but has never drank alcohol. Maybe you should try it. Actually, don't get started. It's very hard to stop. You can ask me. You can ask Caraway. Oh, Vivaka's here. And he's calling me a dingbat. I told you I was going to be doing this. Fresh out of bed I am. Vivaka is busy testing people for the corvids all day. Be safe. Vivaka's been on this stream. He was one of the other Vikings. I tend to collect Vikings. I mean, every time I turn around, there's a Viking in here. The only one who is better at collecting Vikings is my dear and sainted mom. At Euroference, was it last year? 2 years ago? I don't remember. At a recent Euroference, I had invited the Japanese delegation up to my room. They had brought some absolutely exquisite sake. And we were having a very, very enjoyable, gentlemanly, civilized, quiet Japanese-style gathering. And we were being, so remarkably zen, until there was a violent pounding at the door. And when I opened the door, my mother came pouring in with 12 Vikings with her, a mix of Norwegians and Danes and Germans and things like that. And they turned my civilized party into a bacchanal. And That's what happens when you have too many Vikings. Just ask the east coast of England; they'll tell you. Oh, and Onyx Flame's cat has joined us. Hello, Kitty. Copyright 1983 Sanrio. Apparently is purring up a storm. No, Onyx Flame, your cat has heard you talking about the Christmas tree and is excited to crawl into the Christmas tree and become Kringus, god of Christmas trees. Son of Woe is here. Hello. Oof. Caraway has had a tragedy. The shops delivered Cabernet Sauvignon rather than Sauvignon Blanc. So mixing it with Coke, we'll need a nice nap after the stream. First off, Caraway, screw you. Your shops will deliver alcohol to you. They don't do that here in this part of the world. And they delivered Sauvignon. Okay, that is a travesty. That is a red wine. I do not drink red wines. Many people know that. Red wines have a tendency to contain significant levels of tannic acid, the tannins. That's what gives red wines the dryness, that astringency on the tongue. I don't like that astringency. It just does not suit my palate. Also, if you get dead drunk on a red wine and you spill it all over a white lab coat or a white bathrobe, it's going to stain. So white wine won't do that. Oh, Rusty Fox is getting back to VR chat insanity. Well, good to see you, Rusty Fox. Thank you for stopping by. Brunhilde, it has a question. Is it true you only hang out with a closely knit group of people? I don't think that's any different from most folks. I have friends who live locally that I hang out with. I know many people at furry conventions. I do like to spend time with people, but I do have my close friends, mostly folks who have known me for many years. I don't think I'm any different from most people in that respect. I intend to hang out tomorrow, as a matter of fact. A local furry, or reasonably local furry, a chap has just realized that he lives in the same area as me, and he said, "Oh boy, can we hang out?" Why not? So I'm going to be going to my favorite donut shop, which is very much against my diet, but I'm going to walk there. The donut shop is 2.8 miles away. You can do the conversion in your head, since that's imperial. But that distance will burn roughly 400 calories. And that, for me, is just about the amount of calories or kilocalories in your part of the world, that I'm going to get from a glazed donut and a cup of coffee with sugar and cream in it. So it's going to balance out. Anorak Draconis, do you have a favorite type of breakfast? Well, it's funny you should mention that, Anorak Draconis. I'm going to refill my favorite type of breakfast here. For those of you who are just arriving, this is an Italian Prosecco, which is a sparkling wine. And this is good old Florida orange juice made of fruit from Florida and or Brazil. Okay, sure, whatever. And we mix that together. So this then becomes what we call a mimosa. But actually, my go-to breakfast is the sort of the standard Southern American breakfast: eggs, bacon or sausage, and fried potatoes if I'm in the mood for those things, and especially here in the South, a biscuit, which typically in the South is served with sausage gravy, but I don't like sausage gravy, so I usually slather with jelly. That entire thing is an entire day's worth of calories, so I have to be careful. Ewok Kui, do you have a fursuit? You're looking at my fursuit. Actually, my lab coat is my fursuit. I had a fursuit at one time, the character of Chester Ringtail. That's an exceptionally long story in and of itself, and I don't have that suit anymore. Demolition S199 is asking, since their younger brother just got out of basic training, thank you, younger brother, for volunteering. I have a problem only I can solve. I shall solve. What sort of wine would you suggest? Wow. That's sort of saying that's like saying, what sort of food should I serve at dinner? I don't know what your brother likes. I don't know what you like. I don't know if you're talking about serving wine to your brother or your brother's commander. But in general, if you are not familiar with wine and you're in the United States, start out with a nice basic white Zinfandel. Beringer is one of the best white Zinfandels out there. It's reasonably sweet, it's reasonably inexpensive, and it gets the job done. Uh, if you find that you like that, you can graduate to the white wines. The stick to the sweeter end, because Americans do have a very sugar-intensive palate. Rieslings, Moscatos, although Moscato is kind of syrupy, icky sweet. You can then move on to the drier wines, the Pinot Grigio, the Sauvignon, and heaven forbid the Chardonnay. If you go down the route of the Chardonnay, though, you are lost and there is no coming back. Then you might try some of the reds, and if you like that astringency and you're not wearing your dress uniform and the stuff's going to spill all over it, that's the general steps you follow. Hmm. Sixth Ocelot, have you ever had a full English breakfast? In fact, I have. I have been to conventions in England. I was at Confuzzled a number of years. I was at Confuzzled when they were at the Britannia Country House Hotel. Those of you who might remember the Britannia, it's an interesting sort of place. Imagine, if you will, a bunch of small tenement houses located near one another that sort of oozed together and congealed and formed this singular, gigantic mass of rooms. They had a buffet, and I sat down to have a nice English breakfast with that little baked tomato thing and the beans that you guys like to have, and toast, and I tried some Marmite. I'm not going to try that again. But I had some marmalade and my eggs. You guys take your eggs runny. But the eggs they had were scrambled, and I had gotten some, and I sat down, and a young English gentleman came over with a small plate and laid it down on the table next to me, and I looked at him in question, and he said, "That'll be for your eggs." And he walked off. I thought, oh, I have committed a social faux pas. I did not. I am very, very glad that he has corrected me. So I took a bite of my eggs. Now I know what the other plate's for. It tasted like congealed dish fluid is basically the best description I can give. Now, I don't know if that's how you guys like your eggs, but it was ghastly, I think is the word I'm looking for. It was absolutely ghastly. I have also had fish and chips in Sunderland, so I think I've had just about the full English experience so far. Meaning, when I'm in England, I usually go to an Indian restaurant now. Let's see. Oh, a lot of stuff went by while I was prattling here. Demolish is saying, check to see if the pub has such wine. If you're not in the United States, it might be hard to find the California Zinfandel, but see if you can go for Riesling. That is a good starter. Oh, Brunhilde would like to know, do I have any groups anywhere you own on any social media apps for furries who want to join? Well, the honest answer is no. I don't own any groups. I'm still not as social media savvy as most furries are. I got talked into Twitter, and I maintain a Discord account simply to do interviews and appearances at conventions. I don't log in any other time, but that's just about it. Oh, and Onyx Flame is talking about having adopted Diamond the cat. You can sell that cat for a lot of money, by the way. He is now 4 years old. This will be his first Christmas with us. I see. You're planting trees in stages. Don't know how he will react. Well, I know exactly how he's going to react. He will at first hiss at the tree and be very, very curious about it. But once he finds out it's not an enemy, he is going to become very, very, very curious about those dangly decorations. And he's going to start batting them off. So don't put any down at the low branches. Cats, however, are smart. He is then going to try to climb the tree. And he will either climb the tree to bat off all the decorations, or he'll climb the tree and make it so top heavy it will fall down. I have had cats in the past. That's what cats do. Cats are dicks. He's going to do it. Just get used to it. Oh, Calvin the Wolf says, wait, what? Winestream now? What? You didn't see my announcements? I announced it everywhere on social media, as we were just talking about. This is a special international edition of the Winestream. For those of you who are just getting here, just waking up, yes, this is for our folk who normally either can't watch the Winestream because it's at an ungodly time in their time zone, or who valiantly give up their sleep to watch it. So this is just for you guys. Thank you very much. Oh boy. And Mira St. Clair has revealed to us, don't trust the hotel eggs. We make them in the microwave for the continental breakfast. That explains a lot. Now, hotel eggs, generally, I will ask for an omelet because an omelet usually is made out of actual eggs, not out of the congealed dish soap that I had that very day. Oh, Anrock Draconis, do you have a favorite species of cats, the feline kind? I am very, very partial to feline cats. Let's see, what else gone by here? Rusty Foxsoft. Good night, Rusty, or good day, or bye. This is good. I can get used to this. I probably better slow down a little bit because, again, I do have a breakfast appointment with my family some hours from now, and I don't want to go staggering in at breakfast like a common lush. I like to believe I am an exceptional lush. Onyx Flame has told us that the buffet scrambled eggs, they're freshly made, and then they get stuck under a heating bulb for the rest of the day. I guess you can hang out at the buffet and wait for the people to come out and refresh them. I've done that at other hotel buffets, but no, just get the omelet. Oh, M.M. Kenny, favorite species Felis catus. Domesticus is my absolute favorite. Oh, Callan's asking what I'm drinking. This is a socially acceptable morning alcoholic beverage. This is what we call a mimosa, a mixture of sparkling wine, in my case, Italian Prosecco, and orange juice, in my case, Tropicana. Yes, pure premium orange juice, not from concentrate, never from concentrate. And Aaron, I have no idea what you're talking about. Aaron says, staggering, like how you walked from the open mic at EF24. You're probably confusing me with somebody else because I seem to recall that I simply walked from the open mic very, very even-gatedly from the room. I don't get the joke. Oh, and Gummy Bjorn says, there is a Telegram chat, or at my age, a telegraph chat. It is all in Morse code, so you have to know your Morse code to get there. And Mira St. Clair reveals that the hotel didn't have an actual kitchen. It was a refrigerator, microwave, and sink. Okay, yes, I do go to a lot of conventions. I travel to a lot of hotels. And this is why when I'm in England, I go to the Indian restaurants, even for breakfast. And that's true. That's true. Last year we were at the Britannia Country House. I think I ate at the Indian restaurants breakfast, lunch, and dinner because the food was English, very English. I apologize. I don't mean this as an insult. I am simply speaking from the heart. Your food sucks. How the lot of you are not starving skeletons eating tree bark, I don't know. Why do you even bother cooking it? It's not helping it at all. There, I said it, and I'm glad I said it. Uh-oh. And Anrock and Bovaka apparently have started already. They're going to be singing Jingle Balls together. Do it on your own stream, not mine. Yes, Gummy Bjorn is reminding me the minced meat pies, the bangers and mash. No, I'll go for the chicken tikka masala. Thank you very much. A true traditional English meal. Mira St. Clair wants to try the English breakfast. Yeah, you do that. Tell me what you think. Uh, Mostly, what the English eat traditionally is various forms of grease. They take the grease that usually drips out of the cooked meat from the neighboring countries, and they ship it to England on great barges across the channel, and then they carve that grease into various shapes, and they'll carve it into a sausage shape. They'll put breading on it and call it fish and chips. They'll kind of mash it up and call it scrambled eggs. Mm. Oh, and it was not much better when I was in Australia. It was slightly better, but you could still see the British uh, uh, influence down there. Plus the fact that it was ungodly expensive, at least for a Yank. The year I was in Australia, the um, exchange rate had completely flip-flopped from the year before. But that's a different story. Oh, Evok is asking, have I ever been to the Netherlands? I have, as a matter of fact. I visited the magnificent country of Holland, I think, in 2002. I had a business trip that took me to France, and from France then to Holland. It was specifically Paris and then Rotterdam. My company that I was working for had offices in both locations. My colleague in Holland, he was my equivalent. I always loved his name. He was Peter Kool. That was his name, Peter Kool. And when we were in France, the French were happily showing us all the Paris sights. There is the Arc de Triomphe, and over here we have Sous le Cuivre, the Academy of Science, and of course La Tour Eiffel, and Les Tuileries, and all these wonderful things. Well, Peter, I guess, felt a little self-conscious because we took the TGV up to, that's a train, up to Rotterdam, and I guess he wanted to show me Rotterdam. And we're driving around Rotterdam, and he was saying, "Oh, there used to be a great cathedral there that was bombed in the war, and we had a wonderful park here that was also bombed in the war." So I got to see Rotterdam through the eyes of someone who must have seen it before, shall we just say. Caraway has mentioned there's a lot of talk from the country of corn syrup in literally everything. Well, that's a very American thing. We put corn syrup in just about everything. Oh, Blue Paw Wolf has a nice Indian restaurant in their hometown in Sweden, but the food is far too spicy, even the mild option. I have an Indian restaurant here that I'm fond of, and their options that they offer are mild, medium, spicy, and then Indian spicy. Someday I'll be brave and try that one. Six also like, you need to come to Scotland and try some of our food. Black pudding, mince and tatties. I've been to Scotland as well. I looked at the haggis. I couldn't get it past my eyes. That's as far as I will go. And no, the black pudding, my doctor says I'm getting far too much black pudding in my diet, so I'll have to decline. Thank you so much. Oh, Evok's grandfather is from Rotterdam. Rotterdam is actually a very, very attractive city. But the last night I spent in Holland was in Amsterdam, and it was 2002. And yes, I did have to visit the red light district. Just because that's what you do when you're in Amsterdam and you're a foreigner, you have to visit the red light district. It's like institutionalized sleaze in this wonderful, you know, neoclassical architecture. Uh, this, however, was in 2002. This was very, very shortly after the unfortunate events of September of the previous year. So they were searching everything, your checked bag, your carry-on bag. You had to go to a table, and there'd be a gentleman in a black uniform with clean white gloves. They were extremely polite, though. Americans are not used to people in uniform being polite. It's just not in our culture. In our culture, as soon as you put on any sort of uniform that bestows authority, you become a dick. But that, I guess, doesn't happen, at least automatically, over, well, in Germany maybe either, but not in Holland. These gentlemen were very, very kind, because he said, could you put your bag on this table, please? Oh, thank you very much. And that was German, not Dutch. I can't do Dutch. Thank you very much. And I said, don't open your teeth. That's how Dutch people talk. And he said, may I open it? I said, well, yes, of course. He said, thank you. He was going to, may I look through? I said, yes, please. He's going, oh, so is this your first time in Holland? Oh, it's very, very good. Did you enjoy yourself? Oh, I see you've been to the red light district. I was like, if you don't mind, that man is my boss. Said, oh, he has one too. Hey, so yeah, Schiphol Airport was I have fond memories of it. And Honest Flame says, when's the Welsh visit happening? As soon as there is a Welsh furry convention that is willing to pay my way as a guest. I'm sorry, that's what it takes to get me to go anywhere. They don't pay scientists like they used to. If they did, would I be living in a dump like this? And Bavaka tried surströmming that summer. It sounds like a recreational activity that you undertake in the summertime at the beach. We're just going to go with that. Oh, and we have Louis Lodi. Hello from Italy, Castore here. Well, I am having Prosecco that is from Italy. As a matter of fact, this is a Vino Spumante, which is being mixed, with orange juice from my beverage this morning to make it socially acceptable to an American audience. Callan the Wolf reminds us Americans aren't used to people being nice in general. Case in point, one of my friends, my inner circle, or whoever we were having that conversation, my small group, an old friend of mine is a furry artist who goes by Gideon. You may know him, or you may know his artwork. It helped Gideon get to his first Eurofurence, and he was absolutely blown away, specifically when he was at the airport, even in Germany. Everybody was nice, and it completely blew his mind that the customs agents were kind and polite, and when they found out he was American and didn't speak German, they were very deferential, and it helped him out, and he was feeling very, very good. He flew across the Atlantic, and he got to customs in the United States at Philadelphia Airport, and as he told me, he was looking around, and he gave the passport to the guy, and the guy said, go stand in that line. And he was looking around, there were several lines. So he went and got in one, and behind him he heard, yo, stupid, I said that line. That's how he knew he was back home. Vavaka tells me that is not a summertime activity at the bench. It's fermented herring. Now I understand Now I understand English cuisine. Apparently, that was a holdover from the Viking invasions. The Vikings invaded England to offload all their ghastly food that they didn't want to eat. That's history. You can look it up. And Morphman is asking, why is the cockroach up so early on the weekend? This is a special international edition of the Winestream, specifically for the folks who either ordinarily cannot watch it because it's at an odd hour, or who stay up to all horrible hours. And it's my thanks to them. Let them watch this insanity at a time that's convenient for them for a change. Eric would like to know, do I like gingerbread and Christmas cookies? I do, far too much. Again, I do watch my diet. I try to watch my caloric intake, but I do like gingerbread. And Christmas cookies, I don't care. As long as it got chocolate chips in it, I'll eat it. Let's see. Calvin remembers going to California 3 years. Nice holiday, but not your favorite. Not even close. No, California is a nice place to visit, but I would not want to live there. It has its own distinct culture, separate from the rest of America. And Sparky's on the side of the earth where I just stay up too late. Okay, I'll take that one. Wadius is having breakfast with Mom. Breakfast. Wait a minute. Isn't it like lunchtime over there? Well, anyway. Hello, Mom. Good to see you. Blue Paul Wolf is pointing out, or asking Aaron, that is it true that the Danish population are the happiest people in the world? I just explained it. Years ago, they offloaded all their disgusting food on the English, so they're much happier now. And the English tend to be very sad. Vavaka's got to run. Got to put on personal protection spacesuit. Before you said spacesuit, I was wondering where you were going, but that's your business. We're not going to get into that. And actually, I was saying, will there be a drawing this stream? This is just a chat and drink stream. This is a bonus. This is not even an official wine stream, although it's getting there. And I just saw the word lutefisk go by. We are not going to discuss lutefisk on my stream. Thank you very much. I can get into this. Aaron points out it's the Finnish that are happiest. Yes, it's the Finnish that are happiest. I know why. There are certain things they say about Finns. We'll just leave it at that. If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. Eva would like to know if I'm a fan of reading books. I do like to read. I don't have a lot of time, though. I don't generally have free time for reading. If I'm going to read a book, I need to have like an entire afternoon, because I don't like to read and stop. Because chances are I won't be able to pick it up again for a while, and then I'll forget everything that happened. So if I want to read a book, long airplane flights are very good for that, by the way. I want to be able to read it straight through. Okay. And Calvin's pointing out some of America and all of Australia needs some of the rain. Yes, it would be nice. Send some of the rain our way. Honest Flame wants to know, how's Grandma Kage doing? She is just down the road, and my sister and brother-in-law are visiting for the American Thanksgiving holiday. And they are still asleep, or if they are saying they are still asleep, I shall be having breakfast with them. American breakfast, Southern American breakfast, in a couple of hours. J.R. Frost is off. Thank you for stopping by, J.R. Gigout is pointing out a recommendation about Werewolves, the series Wolf by Anthony Milhorn. I will put it on my list. It's been a while since I've had a long plane flight, which has granted me the opportunity to read, so hopefully that will come up soon. Aranches Vopis has just got done working on a freight train. Working on a freight train. A great way to unwind. Well, welcome, and thank you for showing up. Onyx Flame would like to know my thoughts. Crepes versus pancakes versus flapjacks versus waffles. Add it in there. I'm a pancake man because I'm an American and my heritage is in the South. Pancakes, very simple, no muss, no fuss. Just take the batter, put it down. When it's brown, you turn it over. There, you cover it with maple syrup, real maple syrup, not flavored corn syrup. Remember, I spent a good deal of time in New England where the maple trees are. So once you've had real maple syrup, there's no going back to Aunt Jemima or whatever. Gunsmith Jackson is back. Good morning. Oh, Bad Kid says, greetings from Florida. I've got some of your orange juice here, Bad Kid. Thank you very much for providing it. Waters would like to know when's the last time you had snow in USA. Well, the USA is a very big country. There are some areas that have snow right now. Where I am in North Carolina, we very rarely get snow. I think last year we had 1 day of snow, and we don't have snow removal equipment because it is such a rare event. When it snows, we just close everything down and wait for it to melt. 3 years ago, I was living in the city of Wilmington, which is on the coast, and we had a genuine snowstorm. For this part of the world, almost unprecedented, a good 5, 6, 9 or 10 centimeters of snow fell, and people simply had no idea how to react. It was darkly amusing for me because I went out early in the morning to go to work, and oh, gee, it snowed. I shall go to work. But as I was getting into my car, I realized I could hear all around me, every 3 or 4 seconds, the very familiar whoomph of one car striking another, and it was constant, like artillery going off, whoomph, 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 all around me. And I thought, yeah, North Carolina. Aranches is a railroad conductor and locomotive engineer. And Pittsburgh is very much a railroading town. Going by our convention center is this whopping great railroad bridge. Their favorite thing to do at AC is to make the Pittsburgh rail crews do a double take in fursuit. It's always fun to make anybody do a double take in fursuit, isn't it? Oh, Tonico has to hop off. Well, thank you very much for stopping by. Got to finish the assignment in Renaissance history. I lived through it. Just ask me any question you want. And Bad Kid, yes, the drink of my people. Good old Florida orange juice. The question is pulp, some pulp, or pulp free. I like some pulp, and this is a long-standing argument in the United States because we don't have too many things to argue about. Do you take some pulp, as you can see? Some pulp. Lots of pulp, the Grove Stand orange juice. The no pulp, I opted for the some pulp since I'm mixing it with this additional beverage. I didn't want to have a lot of pulp floating free in here. But I didn't want to do without. Blue Paul Wolf, talking about snow in the USA, do you have a story about sleet? Sleet, I guess it happens all over the world. Sleet is frozen rain. When the raindrops pass through a layer of cold air and the actual drop will freeze. It's not hail, it's a very, very different mechanism. And it tends to be small, the size of a ball bearing. When it sleets, it becomes interesting because you now have billions of little ice ball bearings landing everywhere. it makes things pretty. The worst is the ice storm, when you have rain ahead of a cold weather event. The rain will land and freeze on surfaces. It is photographically very beautiful. This entire landscape seems to be encased in crystal, as is your car, and it is nearly impossible to drive in. This stuff is fizzy. I'm burping. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. Oh, Undertaker is here. Hello, Undertaker. Honest Flame gets lots of ice around winter, being in Wales, I should imagine. And they're predicting snow within the next week, 48 hours worth of it. Well, do stay inside. And it reminds me, the phenomenon of black ice. When you have ice that is frozen to a surface that cannot be seen, like the black asphalt of a roadway. I do enjoy driving in the wintertime down here because I find it very safe. Even in ice, even in snow, I am comfortable driving because nobody else down here is willing to venture out. So I'll be the only car on the road. That's about as safe as you can get. I don't even have to worry about swerving. As long as I can keep it vaguely in the middle of the pavement, I'm going to be fine. An Undertaker points out that snow is evil. Well, the furry vampire would know. Oh, interesting. Honest Flame's family has a wood/coal burner in the living room. Well, that's very traditional in your part of the world, is it not? If the snow knocks out the electric, we'll be fine. I do hope you have a carbon monoxide detector, however. Those wonderful old traditional heaters, they did have their drawbacks. And Callan says, real wood fires are the best. Yeah, but keep that carbon monoxide detector handy. I do have a fireplace here. It is a gas fireplace. I only occasionally put it on in the wintertime when things do get below the freezing point here, as they do a couple of days a year. Undertaker the Furry Vampire, where would you find coal? I know Onyx Flame, she just has to look in a Christmas stocking. I a little joke at your expense, sorry. Now here's something that surprises me from Blue Paw Wolf. Apparently snow in the middle west part of Sweden has gotten so rare they don't have any plows. I thought that Sweden, being somewhat north-ish, would have a lot of snow, and it seems that I'm wrong. And Callan just got a flashback. I hope it wasn't me who did it to you. And Senior Lodi, or Lodi, do I have a dash cam in or on my car? Yes, I do. I have a dash cam. They're not common here in the US, but a couple of years ago, when I was commuting 2 hours to the city of Wilmington, being on the road so much, I wanted to have a witness, so I bought the dash cam for that. Of course, with the dash cam, it's pretty much guaranteed that nothing is going to happen that I can put on the internet, so it's been very, very boring, my drives. The only thing that my dash cam has caught that was worthy of note was a couple of years ago. I was stopped in an intersection, and the douchebag ahead of me rolled his window down and threw a lit cigarette butt out. Well, that annoys me to no end. And I got out, and I walked up, I picked up the cigarette butt, and I knocked on his window, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, you dropped something." And he just said, "Oh, thanks." I said, "Cheerio," and got back in my car. I don't like when people do that. I mean, I kind of wanted, if the light was not changing, I would have liked to have stayed and said, just out of curiosity, sir, do you shit in your bed? I just would like to know. It's my edification. Let's see. Akario Morgan is talking about snow in Vienna. Now, when you say snow in Vienna, I've got the 100-year-old version of a snowy Vienna in mind. I'm sure it doesn't look like that because Viennese people don't know how to drive anymore. That's true throughout the world. Snow makes people drive like idiots. I don't know why. Even people in snowy areas forget how to drive. Now, I can recall during my graduate school days in Vermont, which is one of the most northern states of the United States, their winters tend to be rather severe. You learn to drive in the snow there. I can recall driving on the highway to get to school, driving in what I called the Death Star Trench. The snow was so deep, the plow simply just went through in a single sweep and plowed out a 1-car wide trench that was easily 1.5 meters, 2 meters tall on either side. It was higher than you could see. The entire way there, you'd stay on target, stay on target. I was curious because the state of Vermont is one of the states in the USA where they have license plates on both the front and the rear of the car. That's not common in all the states here. Some just have it on the rear. But Vermont has them on the front too. And I couldn't help noting that the front license plates on most of the cars that I saw were kind of mangled. And it was consistent. I'd be in a parking lot and all the front license plates were chewed up and bent and scraped. My hypothesis was that you would start with one on the back, and then when it got old and worn out, you would shift it to the front. But my very first winter there, the plow had come by my street and had plowed up this Mount Everest of snow in front of the driveway. So I got a shovel and I went out intent on digging out. My landlady was a sweet little old lady. Her name was Charlotte McKenna. She went by Kiki. She was a treasure. Kiki came out and got in her little car, and I was going to go to the window and tell her, give me a couple of minutes, I'll have this dug out. And as I approached her car, she just gunned the engine and started heading at high speed toward this mountain of snow. And before I could say anything, she just smashed right through it and kept on going. And that is why all the front license plates in the state of Vermont are all crunched in. You don't bother taking time to take the snow out of your driveway. You just go through it. Worked. Aranches is saying, plowing through deep snow with a train is amazingly satisfying. Speaking of Vermont, Aranches, I used to live in White River Junction, a big railroading town up there. And they had a railroad plow sitting in a rail yard. I don't know if it ever got used. It was an old piece of equipment. I did sneak in and explore it once. A railroad plow is basically, it looks like a giant circle head. It is a single wedge, and that's all it is. It is a massive wedge of metal with a motor on it. And apparently you climb inside this thing and do just like they do in Vermont. You drive at high speed through the snow. I'd love to see one of these in operation. It must fling the snow for miles in all directions. Oh, Kaharia Morgan is working on a sewing project and watching. Well, I'm glad to keep you company while you sew, Kaharia. Fallon Black Wolf is giving a leading statement to any stories of Russian colleagues. Yes, Vladimir. Many years ago, I worked with a man who had come from Siberia, and his name was Vladimir. Of course. What else would his name be coming from Siberia? And we were at work and it began to snow heavily outside. And Vladimir looked out the window and said, "Oh, I must go home. It is snowing." And I said, wait a minute. Hang on. You're from Siberia. Are you trying to tell me you're afraid to drive in the snow? He said, "Oh, no, I'm not afraid of snow. I'm afraid of Americans in snow." Got it. Okay, yeah, off you go. Oh, Alley Cat, cool, just got off work. Hello, Alley Cat. Thank you for stopping by. And Saf Circle is pointing out that some of those old railroad plows were heated by steam. At least I think you're talking about the railroad plow. For some reason, the chat's getting blurry. I don't think I've had too many of these. Then again, it is first thing in the morning. I've not had breakfast, so maybe these just hit a little harder. Right? We'll see how long I can go. Oh, and by the way, this portion of the Winestream is brought to you by Tropicana Homestyle Pure Premium Orange Juice, never from concentrate. And by Mirum Prosecco, Vino Spumante, from the wonderful town of Salgate, Italy. Cheers. I should say salud. And Gummy Moon is saying, "I'm having a real breakfast for the first time in your young life," says the Viking. Oh, boy. The pulp is getting stuck. Maybe I should have gone for the no pulp. Yeah, Calvin says town of. It's because the problem is I don't know what alcohol labels are like in other parts of the world, but you kind of had to fish through all this government warning. You know, if you're pregnant, you'll screw up your baby. If you drive, you'll screw up yourself. This can be the cause of health problems, blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, this was bottled in Salgate, Italy. You got to fish through all that nonsense out there. Now, Unexplained is pointing something interesting out. Have you ever heard the Welsh Christmas tradition called, forgive me if I'm pronouncing the Welsh very, very bad, is it Mary Lywyd? The skeleton Christmas horse. I'm intrigued. Christmas traditions the world over are fascinating. They've done entire documentaries about them. Let's step back in time. The modern Christmas traditions worldwide seem to have been sanitized. Let's make Christmas jolly and happy and candy canes and tinsel and rainbows. I like the old traditions of Christmas with skeleton horses and hellish demons and monsters that came out and gigantic cats that would eat you if you didn't have new clothes. Christmas was a warning. Christmas was a time of horror. It was a time to tell the children, if you don't behave, you will be tortured to death and your soul will suffer for eternity. We could use some of that now. And Zoer points out there's a light dusting of snow outside. Well, considering you're practically in the Arctic Circle. And honestly, I don't know what the temperature is out there. I could open the blinds and look out, but it's dark, so I wouldn't be able to tell. So I have a secondary device. The current temperature here in Cary, North Carolina is 52 degrees and cloudy. No, it's dark. That's what it is. And Callan the Wolf says, "The fuck sounds more like Halloween." It's true, Callan. Christmas is a magical time of year because it's when all the evil is allowed to run rampant and unleashed on children who are naughty. In Iceland, they have the Christmas cat, a gigantic macro feline that prowls the streets and looks for someone who doesn't have new clothes. It's the cat's thing. Just take my word for it, okay? If you didn't get new clothes for Christmas, this cat will tear you limb from limb. We have the Germanic tradition of Krampus. He was Saint Nicholas's sidekick. He's essentially the devil. He's this horrible horned guy with goat legs, and he carries a whip with barbs in it. And if children are bad, he will whip them with this and snatch them and put them in a basket on his back and drag them down to hell. So Germanic parents would tell this to their children and then say, "You did finish chopping the wood, didn't you?" Oh, Barney is here. Hello, Barney. Sorry, goedemiddag. I've known Barney for years. He's a capital fellow. He's also 8 meters tall, as are all Dutch people. I will maintain, and I am absolutely convinced of this. Dutch people are all tall, and they are massively tall. It is an evolutionary adaptation. If the dike were to break, they'd be fine. That's why they're all tall. Let's see. Oh, and Untitled is educating me. The skeleton horse requests entry to people's homes via rhyme or song. It's a very weird horse. The home occupants must sing or rhyme back why they can't come in, and back and forth until the home's owner gives up before the horse. If the horse... Okay, so basically this skeletalized horse comes caroling at your door, and you're supposed to sing back at it and why it can't come in. I just let the damn thing in. I mean, dude, you're a skeleton. What are you going to do to me? You'll rattle me to death? Come on in. I'll give you some hay. We'll put some meat on your bones. And Caraway points out there are several actually, but in one of the German towns, somebody can correct me which one it is, there is a world-famous Krampus Parade. You might say that it's like a precursor of the Fursuit Parade. People dress up as Krampus and have a parade through town. And some of them are absolutely hideous in a delightful sort of way. Oh, and apparently if the horse gives up, they move on to the next property. Onyx has still not explained what this horse is going to do to me. It's a skeleton. It's like, "Hi, skeleton horse, come in. Oh, look, your femur fell off." And Anrock Dracona says, "The Dutch people I know are not tall." That's because you are tall, Anrock, and in comparison, they just do not look extra tall. And there was a Krampus at Confuzzled 2019, which I did not go to. The Confuzzleds for the past couple of years, with, shall we say, a little bit of uncertainty as to Great Britain's location on the continent, made it ill-advised to travel. Oh my God. Oh God. Silver has explained, the skeleton horse will drink all your booze. So yes, if the skeleton horse comes to your door, you must sing back to it why it can't come in and stay at it, so it will go to your neighbor's house and drink all your neighbor's booze. Furry says, "You were there last year." No, I was not. Was I? No, I am positive I was not at Confuzzled in 2019. I know for a fact I was not at Confuzzled in 2019. I was there in 2018. Yeah, I believe. I remember my first Confuzzled. It was at this little... it was when it was still in Manchester. And it was at this little tiny youth hostel kind of place. Very, very 1960s looking joint. And when I went to the bar, I wanted to know if they had wine. They had exactly 2 wines, one white and one red. The white was their house wine. So I said, all right, give me some of your house wine. So the bartender gave it to me, and I was sampling it, and a local furry came up and said, well, what do you think? I said, well, the advertising's true. It tastes like an old house. Hmm. Hmm. Honest Flame goes on to tell us, if the horse loses, your family is bestowed with luck and great health for the coming year. And yes, if you lose, it will drink all your booze and eat all your food. And you may have unusual bad luck. And who the hell cares? Your booze is gone. And Senor Lodi, for curiosity, the longest railroad in the U.S. I'm going to defer to our conductor / railroad engineer. If you would kindly let us know, what is the longest railroad in the U.S.? I'm sure it's a complicated question, because do you mean in terms of track? I'm sure you can follow a railroad track from coast to coast, or do you mean the longest line that is owned by a single railway? Stay tuned. Definitely, okay. If I do this again, make sure no pulp, because the pulp is totally coating my throat. I just have to keep drinking. By the way, I do like riding trains in Europe. European people say, train travel is so horrible. Now, the high-speed trains, from an American point of view, are absolutely amazing. Our trains, the passenger service is not as nice. Our first-class service is like your second-class service. And I do like riding Deutsche Bahn. I do like the first class, because they'll bring shit to your chair. It's like, yes, watching the countryside go by at 250 kilometers an hour. Yes, I would like some wine, as a matter of fact. Thank you very much. Wait a minute. Hang on. Onyx Flame describes this skeleton horse. It's a skeleton head on a pole with a body made of a sheet. Onyx Flame, did it ever occur to you that there are several wanton young men hiding under the sheet, holding a skeleton head on a pole, and they will come in your house and drink all your booze? I'm starting to get an idea. I may bring the tradition of the skeleton horse to the United States. I got a sheet. Okay. Let's see. And Barney says, our first class, yes, yeah, I'm serious. I have ridden what we call Amtrak here. I've taken the first class service. The trains are not comfortable. The ride is not smooth. The service is very Philadelphia, if you know what I mean. Gummy Bone says the Welsh are just weird. Yes, it's like a Scooby-Doo episode. They're getting freaked out because a bunch of drunk guys threw a sheet on, and they put a horse head skeleton on a pole, and they're going, "Ooh, let us in, we will drink all your booze, we are scary." It's actually Professor Hyde White under there. There, I gave it away. And Fenrir says, this video of my story hour at Confuzzle 2019. Excuse me just a moment. I'm going to my little cupboard over here. Oh, that's the nice thing about this microphone. I can keep talking because it's portable, and I got it in my pocket. If I stop to go to the bathroom, though, please remind me to turn the microphone off. Okay. So apparently I was in the United Kingdom in 2019. Frankfurt, yes. Yeah. It was 2014. Yeah, okay. Where's that? 2016. Heathrow. When the hell was I in Heathrow? 2016. Apparently, I went through Heathrow. Yeah. There's Newcastle, 2015. That was when I went to Sunderland for SunnyCon. A lot of Berlin, Tegel. I'm gonna miss Tegel. It was a shithole, but it was like our shithole. Okay, now, no immigration stamps going into Great Britain in 2019. If you've got video of me at an English con at 2019, I want to see the link because I want to know who the hell was impersonating me. Actually, yes, Gummibjorn has pointed out my plan to bring the skeleton horse tradition to the United States has a flaw in it. It's considered socially acceptable to parade around using a white sheet to disguise your identity. It's just we're not going to go there. No. Let's see. Yes, we can do the skeleton cockroach. It's just a dead cockroach on a stick showing up. Yo, give me your booze. I like that. Onyx Flame says, I was scheduled to visit Confuzzled in Birmingham in 2019. I am absolutely positive. Okay. Are we in frickin' crazy town here? Or did we enter another strange vortex where we switched from one universe to another? We've done that a couple of times since 2016, where I've found evidence that we are in a parallel universe. Barney sent me a message on Twitter. Hopefully that message says, dude, they're just dicking with you. Don't pay attention. Because I remember I couldn't get a room in 2019 and I was worried about Brexit. So I said, well, I'm not going to go this year. And Barney says he sent me a message on Twitter, but I don't see one. Okay, hang on. Oh, there it is. Apparently, wait a minute. Apparently there is video of me at Confuzzle 2019. There's video of me at Confuzzle 2019. However, there's no evidence that I entered the United Kingdom or left the United States at that time of year. This is my only passport. And I remember telling people, no, sorry, I can't make Confuzzled this year. I'm a little concerned about the whole Brexit thing. Let's go back to this crap. Sorry, my screen is now all messed up. There we are. Now I'm back. Okay. Okay, I ain't going to talk no more about that because that's starting to weird me out. Yes, I am puzzled. If I went to Confuzzled in 2019, I know I went in 2018. I'm almost positive I went in 2018. Then again, I think I know the problem. My mind is getting confused. My mind is getting confuzzled. I was saying in 2020. That's what it is. This whole COVID bullshit got me. I was not going to go to Confuzzled this past year. That's what it was. Sorry. Mystery solved. Okay, got it. Yes, it was Krampus dressed up as me. Now, No, I can now. I'm get it's. It was back in February and March when people were asking me if I can go to Confuzzled. I was saying no, I can't. In my mind, the last Confuzzled was 2019, and that's what my memory is. So, okay, I can be forgiven for getting a little bit confused. This whole year has been unusual, shall we say. But I still don't quite understand why I don't have an entry stamp at Birmingham and I don't have an exit stamp from the US. Well, it confirms it's in May, right? May of 2019? No, no, no. Unless I went through Berlin. No, 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 no. When the hell is that? I don't remember going to Zurich. No, 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 no. Next topic. Moving right along. So nobody stamped my passport in 20. Okay, yes, I was there in 2019. 2020, I wasn't even going to go, but then they canceled the con because I couldn't be there. That was very sweet of them. Oh, Unexplained points out that during that time there was ease of travel through airports, and due to my flight times, there may not have been anyone at border control. Well, that's frickin' safe, ain't it? Here, I got to take off my shoes to fly, and you don't have any at border control. Claudia says, do you have any fun convention stories you've not told yet? I don't think so. The answer is probably yes. There are probably a lot of fun convention stories I haven't told, most likely because I can't tell them for one reason or another. One, they may lead to unnecessary embarrassment for myself or for colleagues, or litigation's ongoing. Yeah. Okay. Lodi is pointing out the longest railway track where you don't need to change the train. Castore. Senor Castore is asking the longest railway track where you don't need to change the train. We don't have any of those. There's nothing coast to coast. As far as I know, for passenger travel, the longest actual rail line is the one that goes, I think, from Chicago to California. Yeah, if I recall, that's the longest passenger rail line in the U.S. You can't go coast to coast without changing trains. And Aaron says, it's nice to live in a place you do not need a passport to go to other countries. Schengen is a nice deal. Let's hope that everything stays that way. We don't want things to get nasty. Blue Paul Wolf reminds that 2019 is pretty much 2 years ago. No, 2019 was not 2 years ago. 2019 was 1 year ago. There is a generally accepted 2-year rule on stories, on horror stories of conventions. A little fizzy there. Usually we let 2 years go before it's allowed to tell them on stage. I did break that rule for this year. And okay, maybe I'll tell that story. I've told it a couple of times on broadcasts, and I might even have told it on the regular Winestream, but I'll tell it again because, you know what, it's my goddamn stream. I'll tell what stories I want. People often ask me, what was your worst convention experience? And for a long time, I would not answer that question because professional courtesy forbids. A convention chairman, it's uncouth for me to speak ill of another convention. But in this case, I'm going to make an exception because this slipped from incompetence into criminal. There was a convention here in the United States that I'll call it Krampus Shitty Fur Con. Yeah, that's a good name for it. They sent me an invitation for this convention, which was going to be the first weekend of January of 2020. Brand new convention in a awkward part of the country for travel. And this was in the early part of 2019. And I said, okay, you're a first-year con. You're at a bad time of year. You're not in the best location. Are you sure you can afford to bring me out there? How many people do you expect? Well, the chairman said they expected, at least 300. I said, well, okay. If you're sure, we'll do it. Since they were a first-year con, I figured they didn't have money up front. So it's a typical thing that I'll do. I said, look, I'll get my plane ticket and I'll get the cheapest one. I won't fly first class on your dime. I'll get a plane ticket, and as soon as your registration opens, you guys can pay me back. He said, yes, absolutely. So I got the plane ticket, and some time went by, and their registration was open. And I sent an email saying, okay, here's how much I paid for the plane ticket. Send the stuff. And I didn't hear back. So I allowed more time to go by and sent another ping. Okay, here's the receipt. Here's the receipt for my airfare. It's only $312. Anytime you want to send it is great by me. And I did not hear back. And this cycle continued through the summer and into the fall. And it wasn't until the late summer that it occurred to me to look at their webpage. I probably should have done that first. I looked at their webpage. They had 6 guests of honor listed, and I wasn't among them. 6 guests of honor, 3 of whom were coming from long distances, one from the Czech Republic, another one from overseas, one from Alaska. To put things into perspective, American conventions usually are nonprofit organizations, so every amount of money we take goes into the convention. Anthrocon brought in $800,000 US in 2019. I can afford 3 guests of honor at maximum with my budget. This guy's a first-year con at a bad time of year in a terrible location, and he's got 6. And I sent a little note saying, you don't see me on the webpage. And I got a plane ticket and didn't hear back. The 1st of December. We are now 4 weeks ahead of the convention, this Krampus Shitty Fur Con. I sent an email in which I decided to drop all pretense of politeness. The email started with, look, in America, that's an attention symbol. When you start something in America with, look, that means there's probably some heavy shit following it. I said, look, we're 4 weeks out. I haven't got my reimbursement for my airfare. Nobody has contacted me about programming. I have no information about a hotel room. I'm not even on your damn webpage. Do you still want to do this? The email came back. A single word. Yes. That was it. Yes. So I said, if nothing else, I'll get a story out of this. So I flew in. I was flying in on Friday night because I couldn't take time off of work. I flew in Friday night, and already there were buzzings on the convention's Twitter. They were making announcements like, the rooms that we announced where we're going to have stuff, we might not have it in those rooms, which told me the hotel was pushing them out. They hadn't paid their bill. That's what that amounts to. But people were still saying the convention was on. I got there Friday night. I went to the front desk of the hotel, and I said, do you have a room for Sam Conway? And she said, yes. I said, okay. How is it being billed? And she said, it's being billed to the convention's master account. I said, good. I'm going to give you my credit card for incidentals. That's if I want to make phone calls or get room service or something. I want a note put on that it is for incidentals only, nothing else. So I had to make that just in case. So I went to bed. I got up the next day, and I had my receipt for my airfare. And I was gonna take the chairman aside, and I was gonna say, okay, I'd like to have a word with you. And I had to make sure I'm gonna do this right. I was in front of a mirror. I'd like a word with, yeah, that's, I'd like a word with you. I'd like a word. I'm walking downstairs. Yeah. I went down to convention operations, which is a room about this size, standing wide open, not a living soul in it. At the back of the room, where about my table is, there was a table with a giant pile of money on it. I said, well, there's my reimbursement. But next to that pile of money was a big bowl that said charity on it. Okay, now, that is one sacred rule in this business that cannot be broken. You don't touch the charity money. It's a given. There's some things you don't do. You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off that old Lone Ranger, and you don't touch the charity money. But then I looked around. There had to have been hundreds of dollars there, and nobody in the room. So my convention chairman instincts kicked in. I sat down and I ran their damn operations for them for a good 3/4 of an hour until people finally showed up. Well, the chairman came slumping in, and there were a bunch of people around, and I already lost my opportunity. So when he was done talking to his people, I said, can I step here? He walked over. I said, this is the receipt for my airfare. And he grabbed it and said, oh, thanks, and turned and walked away. And I said, okay. So I went out. I went out and did Uncle Kage things. I talked to people, and it's what I do. It's what's expected of me. And sometime later, this guy came up to me, and he said the first chairmanly thing I'd heard him say. He walked up and said, so are you doing all right? Can I get you anything? Would you like some wine? That's nice. And I said, actually, now that you mention it, I would really like to have the reimbursement for my travel expenses. And he smiled and turned and walked away. That is pretty much how the entire convention went. I found out later that the hotel had come to them for a payment and was told, oh, well, sorry, we don't have any money. The hotel was going to shut the whole thing down and throw them all out. My understanding is a staff member, not even an executive, a random staff member, went to the hotel and said, okay, look, this is how much money we have on hand. We'll give it to you. That this is all we got, but it's yours. And the hotel said, all right, we'll accept it. So that's what kept the convention going. I kind of had written off getting my reimbursement back. Some months went by. I guess it was April or thereabout. 4 or 5 months later. Questions started showing up on Twitter because the announcement had been made after the convention that they'd raised $4,000 for charity. It's the tradition. When the convention's done, one of the first things you brag about is how much money you raise for charity, because that's what we do. That's our favorite thing. We raised $4,000 for charity, they said. And people started saying, okay, can we see the receipt? Because their charity was the ALS Association. That's amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease, if you will. And there hadn't been any representatives of the ALS Association on site. So people said, we'd like to see a receipt. The chairman posted a receipt. It was a receipt that was in the value of, I believe, something like $261. And it was in the name of Made for You, who was one of their guests of honor. Which was odd. As it turned out, these folk had done a charity event. And at that event, they'd raised $261. Yay them. And the chairman came to them and said, okay, great, give me the money for the charity. Wisely, the Made for You folks said, you know, we're going to give the money to the charity ourselves. We're going to send it to them. But we'll give you the receipt so you can at least attribute it to the convention. So that was the receipt he posted. And the world said, that's very nice. Where's the remaining $3,740 odd dollars? His reaction to that was to shut down the convention's webpage, delete his Twitter account and the convention's social media accounts, and go into hiding. Okay. Now, I still had this guy's phone number because he had put it in the signature of his email. So I sent him an email first saying, you're in a pickle, my boy. We should talk. He sent me an email back saying, yeah, could you call me? I said, yes, I got your number. So I called him. And I said, first of all, tell me, did you make that donation? He said, yes. I said, you have to be straight with me. If I'm going to help you through this, tell me honestly, you made the donation. He said, yes, I did. I said, then do you have a receipt? He said, yes. I said, then for God's sake, man, post it. This will all go away if you post that damn receipt. Why are you waiting? He said, well, I'm not at home. The receipt's at my house, and I'm visiting my parents right now. I said, well, you damn well better call a neighbor and have the neighbor break into your house and get that receipt and post it, because this thing is blowing up by the minute. Every minute that passes, it's getting worse. He swore high and low that when he got back on Monday, 2 days hence, he would post the receipt. Monday came and went, followed by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and in its natural order, Friday and Saturday and Sunday. The next Monday, I sent him an email in which I said, look, you didn't donate that money, did you? His reply was an image, a photograph. No words, just an image. It was a photo taken at a bit of a distance of what looked like an ALS Association donation receipt. And if you blew it up and squinted, it kind of looked like it said Capital Shitty Fur Con, and it may have been in the order of $3,700 some dollars. The only two things that were legible on it was the receipt number, and it was an interesting receipt number. It was something like, 4466111. Boy, that's a striking number. And the logo for the ALS Association. That was the first thing got my attention. The logo didn't look right. It was different from the logo on my own receipt for the donation I had made to the ALS Association. I sent this image to Boozy Badger, who's a lawyer. And he contacted me back, and he was pissed. He had done a Google image search for ALS Association donation receipt. And the very first image he got back was a JPEG that had that logo on it. It was from 2014. That is the old ALS Association logo that they've not used in 6 years. And it looked exactly like the other one, down to the very unique receipt number, 4466111, or whatever. At that point, I realized this guy is a crook. So I unleashed the hounds on him. I contacted the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, who are very, very interested in charity fraud, and I told them everything I knew. Well, shortly after that, the convention's Twitter was reactivated. And it was reactivated with a statement, it seems I'm going to jail, so I'm passing everything else on to my cousin, who's not a furry, but he's going to take care of all the convention's stuff. And he gave a link to a Twitter account for his alleged cousin. And that Twitter account had been created about an hour previous. And then that Twitter account started tweeting, "Hi, I'm this guy's cousin. I'm not him. I'm running the convention now." Well, people started indicating that they were disbelieving of this, and it only took a few hours before the whole thing came back down again. That's where we stand right now. Is this guy going to jail? I don't know, but I sure as hell hope he is. Why? Because remember I said, it's the number one rule. It's the number 0 rule. You don't mess with the charity money. That's not your money. When furries give money for charity, they expect it to go to the charity. And you are acting in very bad faith if it doesn't go there. And I see the real Acer Gnomes. Hello from Brazil. Hello, good to see you. It's a little later in the morning now for you, but I'm glad you could join us. So what kind of stuff went on while I was blabbling that story? Oh, Paul Stallion says he's at it again now with Amish Country FurCon. Is that still a thing, or did that get shut down too? Because this guy's alleged cousin said, I'm going to start Amish Country FurCon. And the funny part is, he was very adamant. This has nothing to do with Capital Shitty FurCon. We're totally different. This is not the same people. It's all different things. And then he posted their webpage, and he posted their standards of conduct, which specifically mentioned Capital Shitty FurCon in the standards of conduct. Uh-huh. Dot the Corgi says, why International Winestream? I'm glad you asked me that, Dot. I usually give my wine streams in the early evenings of Saturday, which is great for people in the United States, but there are people all over the world who, for whatever the hell reason, seem to like to watch this idiocy. And I frequently hear, wow, I love watching your wine stream, but I can only be there for the first hour because it's 1 a.m. where I live, or I can't watch it at all because it's the middle of the night. So I decided to do this as my thank you to the folks who put up with that. Just for once, I wanted to have a wine stream in a time zone where they could watch it at their leisure. I very much hope that it's more leisurely for them, and it gives me a chance to drink before noon. Yes, for Europeans, not just Europeans, but people in Asia and in Oceania as well. The only time zones where this is not convenient for is the western United States and a couple of little islands in the Pacific where I don't think they watch the wine stream anyway. Oh, Barney looked up this Amish Country FurCon. Apparently the website's still there, but the Twitter is gone. So yeah, oh, incidentally, I contacted the ALS Association in that area. Just to be sure, I said, did you get a big bolus of money in the neighborhood of about $4,000 from this group? And they said, oh, Krampus Shitty FurCon. Yeah, they contacted us and said that they were going to give us a bunch of money, but we never saw it. I said, okay. Now, this upset me because this didn't just react or reflect badly on Krampus Shitty FurCon. This reflected badly on all of us. The ALS Association had been approached by furries who said, we're going to give you a lot of money, and then bailed on them. That gave us a black eye. So I put word out asking people not to bail out that chairman, but to save our reputation. And furries stepped up. We raised almost twice the amount that the convention claims to have raised. And in the opinion of the ALS Association, furries are great people, and that was my goal. I have achieved my goal. My goal was not to see this guy in jail, although it would be nice. My goal was to see to it that our fandom had its wonderful reputation for being a great friend of charity intact. Let's see. Gummy Bjorn. Almost had to miss the stream. My new surround speaker system died as I turned it on. Good thing I said, oh yes, if you can't hear me in surround sound, it might as well. Hi, Gummy Bjorn. I'm over. Now I am over here. Now I am over here. Yes, I'm glad it worked for you. Oh, Silver's got to go. Shopping for a friend stuck at home with flu. I hope it's flu. Silver, thank you for showing up, and wear a mask. Don't get near your friend. So either the chat has frozen or nobody's saying anything, so I'm going to take a good swig. There it goes. Oh. Thank you, the Leos, who pointed out that I am wearing this mic, not the other one, so that whole thing had absolutely no effect whatsoever, and I probably looked like a huge idiot doing it. We'll edit that part out when this goes up on YouTube. Claudius must have got here late. Do you think Anthrocon will run in 2021? I don't know. There are vaccines that have lots of claims made of efficacy and safety, but we haven't really seen that. These vaccines exist, but they haven't been distributed. Nobody's gotten them yet. we're going to wait a little while longer to see if we think it's safe to have a convention in the middle of 2021. Signor Lodi, thank you very much for joining us today. Arrivederci. Barney says you look like a journalist with that mic on. I thought I looked like an old guy in his pajamas with that mic on, but thank you very much. And so far, the battery seems to be holding. Let's see what the indicator says here. It's still got 2 bars. All right, maybe this will make it through. And Onyx Flame says it's been lovely participating in the virtual conventions this year. Do you think once the world is at a safer point, the virtual cons or part of it will still continue? Yes, they will. There's always going to be virtual reality. Let's face it, furry fandom started as virtual reality. The conventions grew out of that. We will continue. Now, the in-person conventions will continue, the virtual reality will continue. One is not going to supplant the other. Undertaker reminds me my hair is so long. We are in a pandemic right now, Undertaker. I am due to have my hair cut next week, but that is difficult because you've got to wear a mask and the barber's got to wear a mask, so we'll see. Alley Cat Cool asks an interesting question. How many people have you dealt with trying to mess with charity money? 1. I have not seen anybody try to dip their fingers into the... Okay, that's not true. I have seen some people talk about it, and I put the smackdown on them. I've seen other first-year conventions say, oh boy, we have money troubles. We'll have to take some of the charity money, and I've overheard that, and I said, no. That's not your money. You can't just put your fingers on that. That belongs to the charity. So I have seen people talk about it, but this is the first time I've actually seen evidence where somebody has raided the charity fund to pay the convention's bills. And this is the reason why at nearly all furry conventions, and this is something I pioneered, the charity will be present. If you go to Anthrocon, we don't take the charity money. The charity takes the charity money. We don't even touch it. We don't put our fingers on it. If you attend a convention which is raising money for charity and the charity isn't there, make sure you get a receipt that specifically says donation to charity. Oxlame is asking, do you think panels will be live streamed from real-life conventions? We already do that. Conventions already have live streams where they show at least the main things on the stage. There have been calls to recreate the convention in VR, mostly from people who have not the foggiest idea how much work that entails. I spoke with my AV crew. They set up the first virtual Anthrocon back in July of 2020. And I said, what would it take? I'm not asking you to, I'm asking what would it take to actually have a virtual con running at the same time as the real one? And they said, it would basically be double our work. It takes as much work to run a virtual con as it does to run this con. So I said, okay, forget it. I am not going to do that to my team. Electrical yin. There's a saying that kind of fits everything happening now. This too shall pass. It will. It will. I have something of advantage over the younger folk in that I'm old. I've seen shit. I've been through shit. It does pass. It might seem like the world has gone to hell, but the world has a way of righting itself. Heck, I remember the original swine flu epidemic of the 70s. Heck, I remember what they called the Hong Kong flu back in the 60s. I've been through economic turmoil. I've been through political turmoil. I've been through social upheaval. I'm a child of the 60s, remember. But it does work out in the end. Strange as that may seem, somehow the world just manages to make itself right. It takes a while. I'm not going to say it's overnight. We might be stuck with this for a bit more, but it does go away. And Gummibjorn points out the dude saying that never had a kidney stone. I've had kidney stones. They also pass. If you're lucky, you'll go to the hospital and they'll pump you full of morphine. Because when they take a whole syringe full of morphine and just ram the plunger home into the IV in your arm, you still have the pain, but it's somebody else's pain. The pain is over here, and you're just looking on with amusement at the pain from a comfortable distance. That's the only way I can describe it. I can see why people get addicted to opiates. That's pretty good shit. Hellycat, cool. The 5 bits of advice you would give to anyone wanting to start a furry convention. Number 1, don't. Number 2, ask why. If you don't have a local fur meet with more than 100 people attending, you can't start a convention there. 3, incorporate. Don't put your own money on the line. 4, get insurance. And 5, talk to old people who've been doing it for a while. Oh, how often I've heard people say, it's okay, we got this, we know what we're doing. No, you don't. All us guys who've been doing this shit for 20 years, we've made every mistake that there is to make. And our sole purpose for still being alive is to keep you from making those same mistakes. All you got to do is ask us, and we'll tell you. Of course, if you want to do it yourself, and I want to have a convention in East Pordunk, Montana, population 83, nearest airport 4.5 hours away. I can have a convention here. Yeah, sure. Knock yourself out, kid. Just don't touch the charity money. Let's see. Oh, Barney still has 10 gallstones in a bottle on his desk. Barney, there is a drop down on Fur Affinity for that, you know. Aranchus Volpius, I think I remember seeing a sinkhole outside the Pittsburgh Westin. You did. A sinkhole opened up in the middle of 10th Street and tried to swallow a bus. There is a city transit bus sitting on 10th Street when the ground gave way, and there's a beautiful image of this bus standing at like a 45-degree angle, half in the hole in its front end, standing up. And there are also gorgeous, gorgeous pictures of people whose Halloween costumes were the downtown bus. Their costume was a bus at 45 degrees. I asked, because I have something been in with the city of Pittsburgh. When I call them up and say, dude, the fuck is going on? They usually are very straight with me. And I called and I said, dude, the fuck is going on? As it was explained to me, Pittsburgh is famous for its 3 rivers. You know, the confluence of the Allegheny and the Monongahela rivers to make the Ohio River. Pittsburgh is the 3 rivers city. But apparently Pittsburgh used to have a 4th river. And that 4th river is now underneath 10th Street. And it kind of did its thing. So that's been fixed. That's been fixed. We're gonna stick with that. Yeah. Oh, Cowlin is back. Hope I didn't miss anything. Actually, no, I stopped the stream until you got back, Cowlin, so nothing's happened at all. Yum, yum, yum. And Failed Offering says there was a guy in New York that fell through a sinkhole into the sewer full of rats. I think that happens every week, though. It hardly makes the news in New York. Games 4356 says that bus was filled with Kage's enemies. True, but it was entirely coincidence. It was simple coincidence. I had nothing to do with it. By the way, those who are just showing up, this wine stream is being fueled by the socially acceptable mixture of sparkling wine, or in my case, fine Italian Prosecco, and orange juice, Tropicana, pure premium orange juice, which is known as a Mimosa. It is the only real alcoholic beverage you can drink at or before breakfast in the United States and not really raise eyebrows. For one thing, from across the room, it just looks like a refreshing glass of Florida orange juice. Yeah. Unexplained says, isn't the Allegheny just liquid moving acid? That's where you dissolve the bodies when people... No, that's absolutely ridiculous, Unexplained. No. The river is not as dirty as it was in its industrial past. Bodies do not dissolve in it. You have to weigh them down with stones so they don't float. Oh, cheers, Gummy Beetle. And Aranches is drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade. Okay, that's also a socially acceptable drink for the morning. And I'll explain... Oh, fizz. Okay, yeah, I was wondering where that came from. Okay. If you're not seeing the chat, I'm not going to repeat it. And Bean says, I've been mixing sparkling water with lime juice. That is actually one of my favorite combinations. I do like... The Germans got me hooked on fizzy water. That's... I can't get enough of this stuff. But with some lime juice added, it's spectacular. And Barney says, weigh a body down with stones? How old-fashioned. What are old cars for then, Barney? Shame on you. That is very environmentally damaging. You don't sink a car in the river. Okay. Oh, Gunsmith Jax is going to email me a bit later in the day. Don't threaten me, Gunsmith. Arancha says, Long Island iced tea not okay. No, that's hard liquor. Lots of orange juice, lots of Prosecco. I need to hit the little room, but I'm going to remind myself to turn the microphone off before I visit that little room around the corner. So I'll be right back. Let's test this. Can you hear me? Yes. You can still hear me? No, yes, no, yes, no, yes. The wire is all wrapped around my belt. I can't take the damn thing off. Don't tell me you can still hear me. It's not connected. Shit, piss, fuck, mother, cunt. Oh. Björn. Hello då, rozpanie się te benefuciate mini honchi. What's that? But it was on. Oh shit! This thing's still plugged. Yeah. Gotta go. Talk to you later. Bye. Um, uh, as Bjorn has pointed out, as a backup, should the battery on this run out, I still have the Yeti microphone, and I had completely forgotten this small fact. Uh, that's that. It's sort of funny when you think about it. Let's make sure the mic source is yet. So, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to this international edition of the Winestream. I am Uncle Kage, and this special edition of the stream is being put on for the for the benefit of those who normally can't watch the wine stream, or for whom it's a hardship having to get up at all strange hours in Asia, in Occitania, in Europe, in Cleveland, far-flung places like that. So, yes, I am utilizing my brand new, thanks to my amazing Patreon patrons, I bought this wonderful lavalier microphone to get better sound quality. However, not knowing how much battery it had, I kept as a backup this Yeti known as the Alkali Gift Dildo microphone. The idea being that if the battery gives out on this, the sound will then automatically transfer over to the Yeti microphone. This small fact had completely slipped my mind, and I blame the fact that I have neither an Asian nor Talon here to assist me with these. See, when you people, I say, can you hear me? You people are like, yes, yes. Oh, they're dicking with me. Okay, yeah, right. But Servagadamon thankfully asks a distracting question. Have plans been made to start on the escalators from the Sky Bridge to the fourth floor of the convention center since last time you inquired? Do you think they'll be done before AC? The last conference call I had with the city of Pittsburgh, I said, okay, has the roof been finished? They were renovating the roof. Yes, the roof is done. Oh, it's beautiful. They got gardens and stone walks and fountains, and it's great. They said, you're going to be absolutely delighted with the roof. I said, yeah. What about my escalators? And there was silence. I said, never mind. I know everything I need to know. So, Silvergadamon, I strongly suspect the answer to your question is no. Oh, Evok has got to be off. Thank you for coming, Evok. Have fun being Dutch. Yeah. Redneck Silver Saber says, pet the pickle derb. Okay, I will pet the pickle derb because he's got this floof up here, which is very petable. Undertaker says, how's the car running? Do you mean my car? My car is running spectacularly. It is a 14-year-old Toyota Corolla with manual transmission, by the way, and it still gets the same gas mileage today as it did the day I bought it. Yeah. Fenrir Furry says, what's your worst how TF did you manage that story from a con? I think what you're saying, Fenrir, is what's your worst How the F did you manage that? Story from a con. Got a lot of those. Usually involving how the F did you get yourself thrown out of your hotel? But there's lots of those. Unfortunately, they still happen. And Aranches Volpus says, it's weird. Every time Kage takes a sip, I can't stop myself. There is nothing wrong with your monitor. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We control all you see and hear. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. Only old people, especially Americans, will understand what that's all about. Undertaker would like to know, do I have a favorite kind of pickle? Yes, I do. The French cornichon is my favorite kind of pickle. I just love them. I can't get enough of them. Onyx Flame says, can the chat see my comments? No. Failed offerings. Can you control my ADHD? Okay, failed offerings. This stream has been going on for more than 2 hours now. If you're still here, you don't got ADHD there. Oh, Gummy Bjorn wants to hear the oatmeal story. That's Alkali's story, and he tells it so much better than I do. And Alley Cat Cool says, despite knowing who you are for years, I still haven't been to Anthrocon. You don't have to go to Anthrocon. I was going to go this year, yeah. What should I look out for and look forward to if it happens next year? If it happens next year, what should you look out for? Look out for an entire city that becomes furry when we show up. You will be amazed. And Cronus is going to go throw breakfast at a bowl. Well, don't throw it too hard. Oh, Johann Kleierreil. Need to go now and restore my axe. That is a proper Germanic. Danke. Thank you for coming. Blue Paul Wolf, can you show us this year's Christmas card to Mr. O? No, I can't. I need my plausible deniability. And Gummy says, how about the Belgian? I need to have my good friend Cheetah, Cheetah.de, who has the greatest name in furry fandom. His name is Sven. Take it off. He's got to be here to hear the Belgian story, too. Honest Flame says, it seems my comments weren't going through. Actually, they were. We were dicking with you. Electrical Yin says, when applying for a tourist visa to the U.S., are Anthrocon and company a valid reason to give on your application? I wouldn't. First off, make sure, I don't know what country you're coming from, but many countries have a visa waiver agreement with the United States. There are a number of countries you don't need a visa to attend the United States from. If you do need a visa, just say tourist. It is best to give only the minimal amount of information. Don't overburden them with information to make them ask questions. You're a tourist. You're coming here to see a part of the world I've never seen before. That's what you got to tell them. Six Ocelot would like to go to AC, but at least 900 to 1,100 pounds for flights. Now you know why I was not going to go to Confuzzled this year. Barney says, am I still in touch with Andre, the hairless master of alcohol? As a matter of fact, I just sent him a note. I keep in touch with him on the WhatsApps. Let's see, his phone's not showing up. Yeah. Andre and I still communicate. I managed to find Müller Torgau here in the United States, which is a wine vintage that Andre introduced me to. So I sent that to him saying, yeah, I found it, which is what it says there. Ich habe es gefunden. Make sure I don't accidentally call him with that window open now. Unexplained says, I sent 12 comments in the last 10 minutes. Because YouTube is being a douche canoe. Okay, my favorite slur is now douche canoe. I like that. It's okay. I'm going to start using that. It's being a douche canoe. And Caraway says, I stopped going to CF because of expense. For the same price, I can go all the way to EF. And Germany is also. But Caraway, you won't be able to sit at the bar and spend 16 pounds on shitty California wine. You're not getting the complete experience. Also, those of you in the chat, I will point out, now I don't know what Onyx was saying. There are some things will not show up. I have some phrases and words that are blocked on the chat. Many of them have to deal with current American politics. There are different venues to discuss those things. So if you say something and it doesn't show up on the chat, there's a possibility that it picked up on a keyword that I said, I don't want to get into that in the chat. Again, I don't know what you said. Maybe YouTube is being a douche canoe. But keep that in mind. Okay. The picture also froze up. Okay, in that case, yeah, that's YouTube. I probably should have had breakfast before it doesn't matter. Remind me to put this back in the drawer where I got it from. I always keep my passport in the very, very same place, just because there is nothing quite like the exquisite panic to having your suitcase sitting by the door, you're pulling on your overcoat, you've put on your hat, and then you say, where's my passport? Always put it in the same place. Undertaker asks if I like V8 juice. Actually, I don't. I like tomato soup and I like tomato juice. There's something about V8. You screwed with the tomato. All right, I will drink V8, but I don't seek it out. I won't crawl a quarter mile over broken glass for V8. Unexplained wants to know the favorite compound, swear, or slur. Okay, my chat's going to blow up with naughty words right now. Actually, I don't have a favorite. There are, shall we say, a list of things that the Scots came up with to address a certain politician here in the United States. Those are amazing. Let's see. Scottish call out. And these particularly came out. Let's see. Oh, no, those aren't the good ones. Oop. Give me a moment here. Somewhere there's a whole list of what the Scots said. Oh, here we go. A weapons grade plum. All right. Abbreviating flesh bag. Okay. The Scots, they have like totally cornered the market on insulting people. And Fox O'More has told me that especially in Glasgow, you can say just about anything to anybody about whatever, use whatever words, and because the accent is so harsh in Glasgow that it will come across as an insult. For example, if I was in a pub and a fellow came over and bumped into me and spilled my drink all over, I could shout out, "Oh, look what you done, you great bunch of hedge clippers!" And it would work. Yep. Oh, let's see what else they cook. Oh, cockwomble. That was another Scottish one. You cockwomble. You polyester clockwomble. You got to get it right. Let's see. You weasel-headed fuck nugget. That's another good one. You leather-faced shit tobogganist. I could do this all day. You cock-juggling thunder cunt. I hope there are no children watching. Or if they are, I hope they're Scottish children, at least. Bloviating flesh bag, I think, is one of my favorites. Oh, Barney says I need to sample some of these samples. Have Fox some more, say them, because then you get the authentic Scottish accent, and it sounds spectacular. Honest Flame says, why don't you run your passport to the drawer right now? Actually, that's a very good idea. And I can take my voice with me because I've got my amazing microphone, which is not going to then default to the Yeti microphone. Here's the drawer. Here it is. If you ever want to rob my house, that's where the passport is. Oh. Somebody gave me this hat as a present. I'm just going to hold it up here. No comment needed. Carway says, I'm pretty sure it's still on the Yeti. Is it? Because according to this, let's see, properties. Well, according to this, it says microphone. Yeah, it's apparently not on the Yeti. If it was on the Yeti, does that sound like totally thunderous to you? Wait for the 10 seconds to let people know. This is really very, very strange. Wait a minute, did this thing run out of battery? No, it's connected. Okay, I cannot explain it because according to OBS, the sound input source is the lavalier microphone. I'm staring at it right now. To the Yeti. I just told it to switch to the Yeti. Now I'll tell it to switch back. Maybe that's what it wanted. So now apparently I've switched back. So let's see. Now it's echoing. Of course. As long as you can hear me, it's okay. The face noises are what matters. Oh, Cronus Azrael is here with a cup of tea and some toast. My voice is different now. Okay, probably when it switched to the Yeti, when I turned this back on, it didn't switch back because of that small technical glitch we had earlier with the sound. We're not gonna mention that. Honest Flame says, my form is looking rather slim but healthy. Thank you very much for noticing. Are you at your targeted weight? I am at my targeted weight of approximately 68 kilograms. That is roughly 150 pounds. I've been staying there for about 2, maybe 3 months now. All simply by watching my caloric intake. Now, last night being the Thanksgiving feast, the night before last being the Thanksgiving fast, that kind of all goes by the wayside, so I'm probably going to have to do some extra dieting and exercise this upcoming week. but I am maintaining the weight that I'd like to be at. And Blue Paul Wolf says, when was the last time you had Kaltamushi? That would have been at Eurofurence in 2019. That's the last time I've seen it. So yes, I got where I am now by simply utilizing a Fitbit to nag me. Caraway, I believe, has had some success with the Fitbit too. We will both evangelize about these things. Alley Cat Cool says, I'm pretty skinny, you weigh slightly less than me, and I'm 23. Well, it's a matter of being how tall. I'm not Dutch, remember. I would die if the dike broke and I was in the Netherlands. Aranches Vulpus, I need help losing weight. Any tips? Get a Fitbit. Don't get the fancy-ass watch with the bells and whistles. Just get the Flex. All it does is nag you. If you don't move around enough, it nags you. You tell it what you eat. If you're eating too many calories, it will nag you. You will start doing what it wants just to shut it up. And it works. I've lost roughly 50 pounds, good 20 kilos in the last year. Yum, 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 yum. Gelty Drake say, hello, Gelty Drake, with coffee and pancakes. I shall be having coffee and pancakes in a little bit. I really should have had breakfast before this because I really haven't consumed all that much alcohol, but boy, is it hitting. And yeah, I had to take a break to go to the little room around the corner. Somebody has asked me recently why I call it the little room. If you've ever read Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, Le Petit Prince, the Little Prince, he always referred to le petit place où on peut être seul, the little place where one can be alone. I think that's a wonderful euphemism for the shitter, which is where I was. It's the downside to having a comedic style which centers around an alcoholic beverage, because essentially that is being metabolized, the alcohol is being metabolized to acetaldehyde, so you probably don't want to smell my breath right now. And the water is just like, fuck it, I'm water, and it's just going straight through, so I occasionally have to go. Caraway is now talking about the bunny butt, which has won awards. We're just going to let you look at the chat for that. Johan is here because the angle grinder doesn't work. Well, Johan, I'm so glad your angle grinder doesn't work because it's very good to see you again. Wadius wants to know the quickest time I've ever emptied a bottle of wine. Okay, Wadius, I once shotgunned a bottle of wine, as we say, on stage. I think it was at Eurofurence. And it was, of course, a charity thing. I'm not going to do that again because I'm not going to do that again. Barney has not had a single drop of it for a whole year. That's okay, Barney. I'll drink yours for you. Prost. Onyx Flame has a Fitbit. It buzzes and shouts, but I still ignore it. And you had to stop wearing it because it started to cause electrical burns around my wrist. That's because you were ignoring the buzzing and shouts. It had to get your attention somehow, dear. Pay attention. Oh, Cronus Azarel. Speaking of grinders, a student in my class at college lost his nail when the metal he was grinding dragged his thumb into it. He learnt from that. Yes, there are certain circumstances you see them coming, and you want to stop it, but you don't. As Ursula Vernon said, learning is about to occur. That phrase came up when she lives with many animals. Among those animals is Sergei the cat. He is a one-eyed Russian blue. Sergei is apparently a he's got to be a retired KGB cat, because I've played with him. He plays rough, and he has a temper, and he can hold a grudge. He also throws knives at people. If you look at Ursula Vernon's Twitter, Sergey, I'm not kidding, he throws knives at people. Well, at one point, some of the dogs decided they were going to take on Sergey, and they were ganging up on him, and the teenager of the house was attempting to stop it, and Ursula pulled him back and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "The dogs are attacking Sergey." And she said, "Let them." And he said, "But they've got him cornered." And Ursula said, "Learning is about to occur." And my understanding is it did. Because Sergey basically educated the dogs as to why this was a bad idea. Time for more of this. Honestly, I had thought that I was putting equal amounts of Prosecco and orange juice into this glass. But it occurs to me that this bottle is really seriously far down. The orange juice, not so much. I guess I'm a lousy chemist. Oh well. That works. Alrighty. One Yin Gang. Hello, Yin. Good to see you. Yin Gang got to meet a 200-pound spotted yin and play with a 3-month-old yin on Wednesday. They make the cutest sounds when they're happy, don't they? Hyenas, despite their I have jaws that can crush your skull without thinking about it, and I am a huge alpha predator thing, they make the cutest little squeaky sounds when they're excited. Num num. Oh, a bunch of stuff went by. Let me see. Honestly, it says wine and cranberry juice is also a good mix. Maybe for the next international wine stream. I just saw a redneck say cockroach, not louse. Now I want to scroll back and see who was using the word louse. No, we won't. We'll let that go. Oh, Gummy Run points out my glass is wider at the bottom where the wine goes and smaller at the top. My secret has been revealed. Blue Paul Wolf, talking about chemistry, please remind me about cubane. That's an in-joke to people who used to work for the man. Cubane. Cubane is a chemical compound. It is C8H8. It is 8 carbons arranged in a cube. It is excruciatingly high energy. It just doesn't have a good pathway to release that energy. In other words, it's like having a powerful spring compressed with a little hook holding it. It's going to stay that way until you give enough energy just to release that hook, and this stuff goes off like a freaking atom bomb. I worked with cubane, God, almost 30 years ago in Chicago. You were only allowed to work with 1 gram at a time. It was such a powerful explosive, you risked far too much damage if you worked with any greater quantity than 1 gram. It, as I said, it was extremely high energy. I worked with a lady from China. Her name was Lin Fang. I called her the Shaolin chemist because I was in my lab. All the labs had doors at the end that connected them. It was almost like a single long corridor that the labs were built off of. So all the labs had a doorway to go into the neighboring one. Well, I was working in mine, and I saw a bright orange flash and then heard the detonation. And waited the customary 5 seconds for flying things to settle down, and then I ran in. And Lin Fang was crouched down in front of the bench with her hands over her head. I ran over and I picked her up, and Lin Fang, are you okay? Check out. Are you cut? Are you hurt? You. And she. Oh, I think I'm okay. And she looked at her bench. It was gone. The bench had been cleared of anything. She's, it's all gone. It's all gone. Look at this. I'm like, okay, what happened? She had some in what we call a Buchner funnel. It's a funnel for collecting solids. And she had taken a spatula and was scraping the funnel to get the cubane out. But that scraping against the porcelain of the funnel added enough energy for it to go off. And she said, I saw it start to explode, so I ducked. I said, wait, you were holding this thing in your hand. You saw it begin to explode and you ducked and you still have your hand. I pictured this matrix thing as the pieces of porcelain were flying across her head, and she was, very Kwai Chang Caine here. Silver Gotamon says, the only amount of alcohol I've had since mid-October has been in the form of cold medicine. That's good for you, Silver Gotamon. I have had a cold since July. Yes, Caraway said she got superpowers while in the lab. That's how chemistry works, right? She must have been working with the right stuff. All I got was kidney stones. I guess everybody gets a separate superpower. Not everybody can be bitten by the radioactive spider. Going Bjorn, my right finger, is that blood around your nail? You mean this? Okay. It does look like I've done myself a terrible, horrible injury, doesn't it? The truth is, there is a certain taste treat that is put out by Doritos called dinamitas. It is difficult to find in certain areas of the country. It is usually only found in areas that cater to a Hispanic population. It is a curled up Dorito tortilla chip that is coated with a bright red powder, which is a mixture of lime and chili. These things are ungodly hot, but they're also addictive. We had some last night before I went to bed, and it occurs to me that I forgot to wash off my Dinamita Dorito eating fingers before I went to bed. So kind of you to notice, but no, I do not suffer an injury. This is from eating bright red tortilla chips last night. So, yes, thank you. And Kronos got challenged to put alcohol in my tea. The only alcohol I had available was cider. No. Okay, I challenge you to put alcohol in my tea. Just get some kombucha. It's fermented tea. That'll do you just fine. Aranches Volpes says, on my ship in the Navy, we found an old OBA oxygen breathing apparatus. That's OBA, oxygen breathing apparatus. Canister. We took the insides out and looked like chalk at the time. We made the mistake of pouring a small amount of liquid on it. Okay. Let me explain to you, Aranches. Actually, you probably don't need me to explain to you. That's how these things work. That powder is, I don't know, it could have been potassium superoxide. It's usually a superoxide of some sort. When it reacts with water, it produces oxygen. It's designed to react with the water in your breath, the water in the air. doesn't take a lot of water to produce a significant amount of oxygen. By pouring water on it, you basically lit a match to the entire pile of TNT. I hope that learning occurred that day. Oh, Mr. Morningstar, learning is about to occur. Had eaten some hot wings once and made the mistake of rubbing my eyes. Everybody does that once. Everyone will do that one single time in one's life. Never again. Now it reminds me of something around just when I was when I was an undergraduate. We had an amazing science building, Failure Hall of Science. This amazing monolith of a building. It had not been built. It had been thrust up from the bedrock itself. I loved that building. 1930s vintage, had not been modernized since. It was like stepping back into Frankenstein's lab. But the basement had a stockroom where they had shit that went back decades. And while I was poking around in the stockroom, don't ask me why they let me poke around in the stockroom. I found a box. Inside was a mint condition World War II vintage gas mask. And I guess it was considered safety equipment. But it was down in the stockroom. So what I did was I put on a lab coat and I put this gas mask on, and I climbed out on the ledge that was going around the top floor of the building, and I simply crouched out there and pretended to be a gargoyle. And I did this for hours on end, and it was fun because people would walk by and they'd glance up and then they'd look. It's like I'd sit there. I'm a gargoyle. Gummy Bjorns, remembering the military taking the gas mask off after tear gas training. Some guys rub their eyes. They're supposed to tell you not to do that, but a lot of sergeants conveniently forget. Tyro says, so what time is it there? I don't know who you're talking to, Tyro. If you're talking to me, it is 8:50 a.m. Having started this nonsense at 6 a.m., at roughly 9:15 or so, I should probably call an end to it because I still have to get my shower and shave and everything because I am due for breakfast at my dear and sainted mom's house at 9:30. So actually, thank you for pointing it out, Tyro. I should keep an eye to the time. I will bring the remainder of the Prosecco and the orange juice down to Mom's house because my sister and brother-in-law are there. If you guys have been to either Anthrocon or Eurofriends, you have met my sister and brother-in-law probably. My sister Cindy and her husband John, they were at Eurofriends last year, and they go every year to Anthrocon. They're a wonderful family members. Mr. Morningstar, what's the biggest mistake you made at work that will never be made again? Recrystallizing something from diethyl ether on a hot plate. They always tell you it's a bad idea, but it works for what you want it to do. The problem is, if you accidentally let a drop of the ether fall and hit the hot plate, the whole thing goes up. I learned this when I was working in Arkansas. The entire hood was a curtain of flame. And I ran back away from it, and I went to the door, and there was my boss, big old Oklahoman named Dwight. There was a colossal fire extinguisher. It was like an entire gas cylinder. The thing was 1.5 meters tall and had a cone on it 1 meter long. It was like an aircraft fire extinguisher. And I grabbed the cone and I turned to the hood. Well, by then, the ether burns very quickly. And all I saw was like a little candle flame flickering at the top of the flask. And Dwight was saying, "Shoot it!" I said, "But Dwight, it's not sporting. It's." I got. He said, "Just shoot the damn thing." Okay, I looked at the label on it. It said, "Stand back 100 feet." The room is 20 feet, maybe. I said, "Dwight, I don't know if I can." He said, "Just shoot it." All right, so I got lined up, and it went out on its own. That would have been the end of it. But this laboratory in the 1970s had been a military germ warfare laboratory. It was decommissioned, but apparently it still had some of the old safety equipment hooked up, because there was a heat sensor in that hood that set off a chain of events, shall we say. Sirens started going off everywhere. Red rotating lights started going off. Every piece of fire equipment from 30 miles came in. And they all showed up, and they were all standing around me, who was standing there like, And they said, "What happened?" And I said, "I don't know. I was just like walking by, man, and all of a sudden it was on fire, Shit happens." Dwight has passed away a couple of years ago, and I never did tell him what actually happened. Onyx Flame says, "I don't think I got a chance to meet your family." Onyx Flame, if you saw a lady who looked very much like me, who was also hanging out at the bar drinking all of my wine, that was my sister. Oh, Journey the Angel Dragon. Hello, good to see you, Journey. Hope everything is going good for you. Well, it is so far. I've got my socially acceptable morning alcoholic beverage, the Mimosa. It's actually light outside now. The sun is actually up. It was dark last time I looked. Silver Gaudaman asking about vaccines. What's known right now? Do you think they'll be approved by the FDA? The answer to your question, Silver Gaudaman, is yes. I think the vaccines will get emergency approval, which means we haven't had time to look at them very closely, but at first glance they look okay, so we're going to let them be used because there's a crisis. They will get approved. My biggest concern is distribution, because there are political forces that are willing to interfere with the distribution in order to make their opposing political forces look bad. I am hoping that that doesn't happen, and I'm just being paranoid, but I'm not ruling it out. Let's move right along, shall we? Journey says, "Don't tell Qianlong." Why not? There's another celestial dragon named Julong. Julong basically lives with me but has never had wine before. Then why not tell Tian? Because Tian can still drink the wine. So we've got Tianlong. In Singapore, we have Qinlong. Now we have Julong. We got the Philadelphia one, so long. Anyhow. Let's see. Gummy Bjorn, just out of the blue, said, "I regret not signing up for EOD and mine clearance. I like to work with explosives." Good on you, Gummy Bjorn. I'm glad you like boom booms. Arancha says, "May I buy and send you a bottle of wine?" The answer to your question, Arancha, is no, and here's why. If we are at a convention and at a bar or something, I'd be more than happy for you to buy me some wine. However, I live in the state of North Carolina. Different states have different laws about alcohol. One of the laws in North Carolina is you may not ship alcohol into the state. The state government authorities are the only ones permitted to import alcohol into the state and then to distribute it. So if you send me a bottle of wine, it's about a 50% chance that it will get to me. But the other 50% is that one of the postal inspectors will notice it is alcohol and it will be confiscated and it won't get to me. So don't take that risk. Hmm. Hmm. Ah. Now, Journey says, I don't think Julong is related to Tianlong or Qinlong. He just has to wait and see when he gets the chance to meet them. I hope that chance comes up soon. Blue Paul, if you went back 500 to 1,000 years in time, what modern knowledge would you use to make yourself a comfortable life? Toilet paper. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would bring toilet paper with me. Yeah. Gunsmith Jacks, what chemical you don't want to work with? There's very few chemicals that I won't work with. Xenon hexafluoride is one. HF, hydrofluoric acid. I won't work with that either. There are some things where the risk is just too great for the benefit. Journey says, I'm one of the best YouTubers. Oh, well, thank you very much. But you miss watching Ken Long's wine streams. I will mention him. He's not done some for a while. His are grumpy streams, by the way. Tien is, this is the stand-in Ronnie. He recently lost his grandfather, his grandnoodles. So I'm gonna give him some time. But maybe for the month of December or January, I might say to him, dude, yeah, people miss your grumpy streams. Maybe you should do another one. Blue Paul Wolf says, wasn't it sulfur hexachloride that made your voice go super deep? No, sulfur hexachloride will kill you. You don't make your voice go super deep with that. Alejandro Mancia, how did you start drinking a lot of wine? I started drinking a little bit of wine, and I didn't stop. That's how it worked, yes. Gumi Bjorn, go. Do you really want me to tell the story of Karen Wetterhahn? Have I worked with white phosphor? No, I never have. One of my professors when I was in graduate school at Dartmouth was Karen Wetterhahn. Absolutely stellar scientist, one of the pioneering women in the field of chemistry. Karen was fun. She was brilliant. She was everything a modern scientist should be. And everybody loved her. Sometime after I left Dartmouth and was out on my own, Karen started to have a little trouble with balance. She'd get up in the morning and kind of sway a little bit. When she got up from a chair, she'd be a little woozy. She talked to the doctor, and the doctors checked her for, all the various things. They didn't find anything. They gave her some pills for vertigo, but it got worse. It got to the point where she was having trouble walking. She couldn't walk down a hall without holding on to the wall. And then it got to the point where she couldn't really walk at all. She was put into the hospital, and they were doing all sorts of tests. And it was Karen herself who said to them, check me for mercury. Because she had been working with dimethylmercury, an organomercury compound. She was doing nuclear magnetic resonance, which involves putting some of the stuff into a very narrow little tube, maybe not this narrow. But she had on a pair of latex gloves, and she remembered she was dropping some into the tube, and a drop missed and went onto her glove. So she continued filling the tube, took the glove off, and threw it in the trash. They checked her for mercury. It was off the chart. It was literally off the scale. No one knew that dimethylmercury will penetrate a latex glove instantaneously, almost a matter of milliseconds. So it went clear through the glove and was absorbed into her skin. That single drop was enough. They tried to treat her, but by then it was too late. The mercury was playing havoc with her central nervous system. She continued to decline, was comatose after a month. One of her grad students went to see her in the hospital. And when he went into her room, she was thrashing around on the bed and screaming. And the grad student ran to the doctor and said, "You have to do something. She's in pain." And the doctor very sadly and patiently said, "We don't believe she's capable of feeling pain at this time." And shortly after that, she was gone. Terrible loss to the academic and scientific communities. But she now becomes an object lesson. I guess she would have liked it this way. In proper glove selection, not all gloves are created equal. Make sure you wear the right glove for the application that you're using. Onyx Flame, along with my toilet paper, she would bring modern plumbing because you can then have a bidet. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that too. Oh, Mr. Morningstar's grandmother says good morning. Good morning, Grandma Morningstar. Very, very pleased to see you. Yum, yum. And Julong apparently watches my streams. Oh, very, very nice. Thank you very much. And Tianlong streams. So he basically sleeps while I work as a housekeeper at a hospital. Okay, the Longs do tend to sleep a lot, I've noticed, when they're not drinking. Tyro says, what is it like being on the stream without being in danger of being blind drunk? Well, the danger is always there. What's it like being on the stream? I don't know. It's like sitting on my sofa for 3 hours and drinking and talking to myself, because I'm sure my neighbors think I'm insane, because they walk by the door and they hear me in here talking and they know there's nobody here, and I'm just like talking to people, sitting on my sofa in my bathrobe, in my pajamas at 9 in the morning on a Saturday. That's pretty much what it's like. Now, you can ask Vovaka, you can ask Silver, they've been here. You can ask Tianlong, you can ask Zeke Hyena. Zeke holds a special place in Winestream history. Zeke is the only guest to have passed out on the Winestream itself. Earl from the Lube Rack came very close. He kind of slipped and fell and half passed out, but he woke up immediately. I was sitting here with Zeke. I was sitting like over here, and Zeke was here. And, fursuits, they're big, happy, smiley with the eyes and the yay. And I'm talking and being Uncle Kage. Oh, yes, Uncle Kage, I drink and I talk and I make noise. And I happen to glance over, and Zeke is like this. I'm like, so, Zeke, what do you think? Zeke? Zeke? And I shook him. He said, huh? That's when I called an end to the stream. I said, I think we're done for tonight. But since we had to knock it off early, we had a hangover stream the next morning. So if you look back in my YouTube channel, it's, what would you say, going to be going to, was it in the winter, a year and a half ago, look for Zeke Hyena. There's 2 streams for the price of one. Einstein says, when's the fluffy cover for your sofa coming out? It's probably coming out once we get into December, because it's on the Celsius scale, it's about 18 degrees out there right now, so it's hardly fluffy sofa cover weather. And Gummibjörn still has the nudie pictures of Zeke on the stream. I do too. Let's see. Okay, I am asked a question that I can't answer. Journey, what are your thoughts on Dino Masker fursuits? I don't actually know what a Dino Masker fursuit is. I might know what it is, but I don't recognize the name. Can somebody enlighten me, please? I don't understand the term Dino Masker fursuit. My niece Katie is here. Hello, Katie. I am drinking socially acceptable morning alcoholic mimosas. And my grandnephews say hi. Oh, what's it going to be like for these guys when they remember back to their great Uncle Sam? Oh, we remember him. He was this drunken old idiot we used to watch on the screen. Is he dead yet? Did we inherit anything? Yes, you will. I got you covered. Don't worry. Oh, boy. Honestly, did you have to have the fluffy cover dry cleaned after Alkali's last visit? I had to have the entire place freaking fumigated after Alkali's visit. You want to talk acid out? The whole place smelled like wino. I actually had to have a professional cleaning service come in. Silent Dawn is here. Hello, Silent Dawn. I only have a few more minutes left because I still have to get cleaned up and go to breakfast. Katie, your mom and dad are down at my mom's place, and I'm going to join them for breakfast shortly. And I will bring the amazing Italian Prosecco and Tropicana home-style orange juice with me. Yeah. Let's see. Journey says it's a fursuit that includes those dino masks from Jurassic Park toys. Well, I'm still a little lost, Journey. I don't think I've ever seen one. Or if I have, it just didn't register. So to answer your question, what do I think of them? If people like wearing them and it creates an illusion that they want to project, then I'm fine with it. Oh, Zachary says hi. Hi, Zach. Good to see you. This is orange juice. There's no alcohol in here. It's just orange juice. Your mom's a liar. Don't listen to her. Oh, and you're going to mom's. Okay, I have to get this right. Zach, you're going to your grandma Cindy's house for Christmas. That's good. I hope you have a fine time there. See, I have trouble with all this generational stuff. When Katie says mom, I think mom, my mom. No, mom is her mom, and to Zachary, her mom is grandmom, which makes me old. Oh, Mr. Morningstar and Grandma Morningstar are off. Thank you both for joining us today. Tyro, how do I project the illusion I'm a functioning adult? Run a furry convention. People will believe anything. Arancha says, anyone have a Discord I can come hang? I don't, but if you have a Discord and would like to spend some time with Arancha's Volpies, please put your Discord thing in the place where you put Discord stuffs, the talky thing over here, which may be over here for you guys. Undertaker says, I'd love to see a Kage family wines. My mom has been on here, and I think 2 Thanksgivings ago, we had the entire family as well as some friends here. Let's see. See, every once in a while, the chat doesn't move, and I wonder, did it stick? There's nobody happening to say anything right there. Oh, Vocal Armory. How was my Thanksgiving? My Thanksgiving was very turkeyful. I spent it with my mom and my dear sister and my esteemed brother-in-law, John, down at my mom's place. we basically ate ourselves into a stupor, and I drank so much of that blackberry cider that I'm so fond of that I'm not 100% sure how I got home. Widest Dragon says, what are you thankful for, Kage? Being alive, I guess. That's the best thing to be thankful for. It's kind of a shitty time to be alive, but it's an interesting one at least. If I had to have lived through any period in history, this is as good a one as any. Let's see. Oh, Gummy Bjorn says he has the naked Zeke pic. Now, I got to click on this just because, Zeke, we're talking Zeke here. Yeah, that's the one. Zeke doing the poodle thing. Alex Lane says, what time you be going for breakfast at Grandma Kage's? Theoretically, I should be quitting now and going to get a shower, but I still have alcohol in my glass. So, when they want me to come down, they'll log into the stream and tell me. We're going to go with that. That's what we're going to do. Okay, yeah. All right. Electra Fencer gives me her regards. Well, thank you very much. I shall keep her regards in a very safe location until I can return them to her. And please return my best wishes to her. She is a darling. Let's see. Vocal Armory. I got to introduce Vocal Armory's fiance to the rest of the family. What's left of it anyway. We're waiting out the pandemic before officially getting married. A wise choice. Vocal. Can I call you Vocal? Yeah. That is a wise choice. Let's not risk our family for the sake of family. I said earlier in the stream something that was horrible, and I'm going to go to hell for it, but it unfortunately has a grain of truth. I mentioned the Thanksgiving holiday or culling the herd. I hope to God I'm wrong. I really hope to God I'm wrong. Onyx Flame says, you might have to call Grandma Kage, let her know she needs to call him, otherwise he will go on forever. I didn't see that. In fact, I am sure that there are laws about having open containers of alcohol on public streets and carry, so I really probably should finish this off. Because I would very much hate for a police officer to have to take me to task on this amazing holiday weekend. Oh, no, Katie, she's up. Trust me, she's up. She's up and putzing around in the kitchen, probably washing something doesn't need to be washed, probably putting something away that your dad already put away. You know, Grandma. And Redneck says you could probably get away with Tropicana. Wait a minute. If I were to pour the remainder of this bottle into this bottle, it would just look like orange juice. The germ of an idea is forming in my mind. We'll come back to that one when it's time. Onyx, I was ahead of you. I came up with that idea myself. And Gumi says you'll wind up with a weak-ass mimosa. But when I get to Mom's house, she has some too. Alex Lane says the ratio's a lot better that way. Then you have to worry about the kids getting hold of it. The kids are in Massachusetts. I'm in North Carolina. I ain't worried about the kids. Kitty D, an idea you had in college with rum in a 20-ounce Coke bottle. How did that work for you? I probably should. Okay. When this glass is done, unless they got online and tell me that I need to go, either when they get online and tell me to come to breakfast or this glass is done, we'll call an end to it. So how's that sound? So Once again, for those of you who got here late, and thank you for watching this special international edition of Uncle Kage's Wine Stream, put on specifically for those in far-flung lands whose time zones have made it a chore for them to watch this absolute idiocy. Why they would want to anyway is so far beyond me, I can't even see it, but that's not my business, it's yours. I'm just glad you're here. It's wonderful to be able to share a morning libation with friends. Barney says, do this more often, please, Uncle Kage. Yeah, sure. I'll get up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday more often. You know, it is kind of, okay, maybe I will. Maybe I will, just for fun. Maybe I will. Oh, God, Onyx Flame. Absinthe and cherry Pepsi? No. I'm sorry. No. Negative. Yet. Nine. Niche. No. I have had absinthe. I haven't had the bullshit absinthe you get at the wine store. I have had absinthe from the Czech Republic. I've had absinthe with the real wormwood in it. It will fuck you up. Believe me. I hope that... Katie, don't let the kids watch. Their great uncle's a potty mouth. Make sure they know that. Edit that part out. Undertaker says, what about a 24-hour wine stream? I don't know if my liver could take a 24-hour wine stream. Tyro asks a very good question. Are you looking forward to any material things for Christmas this year? No. And that's an honest answer. No. I got too much crap anyway. Presents are nice, and I'm always happy to get them, and I'm always grateful. But I don't need things. I don't need a physical object to represent someone's affection, to represent someone's esteem. Again, it's a nice tradition, but simply having the affection, simply the expression of the esteem is enough for me. A hug, sharing a drink, sitting, talking with me. That's the essence of the present. The actual physical representation of that emotion is immaterial to me. I am just as happy to have the sentiment without the physical fetish object. Unless, of course, that is a bottle of Japanese sake, in which case I'm very happy to have the physical representation of the emotion or the esteem. So, yeah. Yeah, Glue Paul reminded me. Sake is. Vocal would like to know, have I had the Icelandic alcohol called Black Death? I have not. Oh, Talon is here. Hi, Talon. Talon, where the hell were you? I needed tech support, and you weren't here. We'll have to have Talon down again sometime so he can make the damn microphone thing work here. Paul Stallion says the wine rack is still empty. You can see a little bit of it behind the desk chair that's at the table there. There are 2 bottles on the bottom shelf and 6 in the refrigerator, so I'm not worried. Yeah. Let's see. Onyx Flame got her absinthe from Amsterdam. It has Van Gogh on the bow. Okay, that might be real. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah, okay. Talon doesn't need to know what happened earlier. It's going to bore him. So let's not trouble him with bullshit. Just let him enjoy his morning, okay? On the 24-hour wine stream, I can do a tag team stream. The idea has merit. The idea has merit. a tag team stream. Maybe I could do like 4 hours, then switch to Alkali, then switch to Tien, and then switch to Boozy. Hold that thought. I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna work on this. Oh, Slushy Wolf is here. Hello, Slushy Wolf. Good to see you. And those of you who may not know who Talon is, he's one of my oldest friends, one of the members of the Stuff Crew. He is also the Stuff Genie, if you remember that amazing episode that we had so much fun with. And yes, Jeremy says Boozy will end up accidentally creating another cult. Boozy Badger, as a joke, turned his webcam on his cooking Thanksgiving turkey and just left it there and managed to create the religious cult of Torco. Only Boozy could start a cult by showing his Thanksgiving turkey cooking. Alley Cat Cool, had to leave for 10 minutes. Nothing, just an old man getting shit-faced, pretty much. Oh, hello, Slushy Wolf. I'm doing just fine. Coming to what will probably have to be the end of this little endeavor here, because, again, I am expected at breakfast down at my dear and sainted mom's house. As I said, my darling sister and my esteemed brother-in-law are there. Maybe I'll forego the shower. I'm a furry. I don't need a goddamn shower. I'll just head down as I am. I won't even get dressed. I'll just go down in my... That's it. I'm just going to go down in my pajamas. The neighbors don't like it. They can call the cops for all I care. Oh, let's see. Oh, Drax, you're here at the very end of it. Those of you who are here at the very beginning, that amazing music, the theme, if you will, of Uncle Kage's Winestream was composed and performed by Drax Dragon. Thank you very much, Drax. Good to see you in the 6 or so minutes I have left. Carraway says, if I don't take off the mic, then no one will question you. I somehow think they will. What I need is a clipboard. If I walk down the street dressed like this with a microphone, carrying a clipboard, nobody's going to say a word to me. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. You all hear that sound out there? Leaf blower Larry is here. He's the guy that comes in with the leaf blower and blows away all my spiders from my door. And Jito says, you've stink cursed the next person in AC by refusing to set a good example. Jito, I'm tired of setting a good example. Hi, Larry! I am tired of setting... Could I not just be a bad example for once? And Slushy Wolf is asking, how was my Thanksgiving? My Thanksgiving was besotted and filled with turkey. I hope yours was too. By the way, Drax has also been on the stream. You can look back. You can find the Drax stream. Sasha Whitefur, I agree. I actually foster spiders. I like to keep spiders. We've got a kind of tacit agreement. I'll be your friend, but don't touch me. I allow spiders to live in my place because I don't like other creepy crawlies, and spiders are perfectly fine. For the longest time, I had a door spider. The door spider and its progeny, I guess by evolution, natural selection, had learned that they can spin their web across the top 20 centimeters or so of the door and not interfere with the big monkey going back and forth. And it was a good symbiotic relationship because I would open my door, and if any skeeters tried to get in, the spiders would catch them. But then leaf blower Larry shows up here and is like, oh, I'm cleaning the breezeways. I don't want my breezeway clean. I like a filthy breezeway. Fuck off, Larry. Oh, Vocal Harmony is going to Harker's Island and says, may Odin grant you knowledge for your journey. I can do that. Thor grant you strength and courage for your path. And may Loki bring you laughter as you go. Thank you, Vocal, and thank you very much for joining us this brilliant, bright morning. 9:27. I'm actually expected there at 9:30. It's now 9:20. I got 2 minutes to get a shower, get dressed, get down to breakfast. Oh, shit. Wow. That's a mimosa. All right. I ought to get it going. As I said, here's a nice tiny little old lady and my sister and my brother-in-law, and they brought Scrapple with them. So there is Scrapple waiting for me. If you don't know what Scrapple is, hold that thought. Ask me on the next Winestream, which is probably going to be the 12th of December. 12th of December, Katie. December 12th. December 12th. She's always yelling at me because I don't tell her when I'm streaming. So, I shall take the Magic Mouse on the Magic Mouse platform, which is this thing here. And I'm going to make damn sure I end this and turn all the microphones off. All right, so, to my dear friends, flung far and wide across the globe, across time and space itself. This was specifically for you. This was my thanks to you for simply wanting to spend time with me. The fact that you wanted to spend time with me is precious to me. It makes me whole. It makes me feel like a proper person. Because what's a person if nobody wants to hang with you? So you guys, you're very, very kind. Hopefully you didn't have to dig too deep into your schedules. As long as you enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. And I'm doing all of this wonderful talking words here because I can't find the button to stop the stream, and I'm frantic. There it is. There. Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this international version of the Winestream. We will see you on the 12th of December if you don't have to stay up too late or get up too early to see it. So, thank you all, and God bless.